Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. It is Friday. You know what that means. The Lions play this weekend. We'll be breaking down all that and much more. Sam Flannel. No flannel today. Look, he's ready to go.
Rabid dog.
Freshly shaven.
Yes.
T-shirt. He's ready to go. He's fired up.
It's T-shirt time.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? I'll allow that. No flag thrown on that play. Jersey Shore. All right. Detroit Kool-Aid hanging out with us. Brandon Dent.
Hey, what
my
up,
guy,
bro?
the man, the myth, the legend. Like I said, the most underrated man at this network, filling in for JB. JB's handling some business. You know, we got Hazel Park, Dispo. You know, he's taking care of some things in the back end. So thank you, Brandon, for filling in for JB today. And then, of course, my final time saying it, Toledo's finest. Lucas Klotz, the ball knower.
It's a bittersweet day, boys. Bittersweet day. Happy to be here, though. Not want to be anywhere else on this fine Friday morning. Even though it's shitty as fuck out, I'm with the fellas. Be having a good time tonight, so be good. And tomorrow.
It's all good. We appreciate you, man. Big time. I want mailbag today to be just Ask Lucas. So get your questions ready, 9:50. You ask that man anything, and there's nothing off limits, by the way.
Brutal honesty too. I'll be honest.
Ask the tough questions. He will answer them. He will answer them. Anthony Tillery says, Sam, you look like the Green Goblin, bro.
Wow. Well,
Oh my God, you kinda do, bro.
well, thank you for that. I was feeling pretty good about myself, but now I'm gonna be insecure and probably cry after. I'm kidding.
Phil says we had a fart off on the heavyweights last night. Lucas, did you spark a movement?
I might have. Trendsetter. I know Spenny ripped one and they put a poll up and I guess Spenny won, but he had home field advantage being on the heavyweights and everything
I'm
like
a trendsetter too.
Yeah,
The originator.
That's fair. Home field. Yeah. He came in already as like a 3.5 point favorite.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like there's nothing you can do.
Like the Cowboys at home last night.
Speaking of that, good transition.
Hey.
Seattle took on Dallas last night. And I gotta say,
refs.
hold on, and I'll get to the, because again, I don't want because the refs, I think the refs just ruined that game for the most part. It was ridiculous how many penalties were called. But I have to say this though, Flannel, before you freak out on me, because I didn't start off with this.
All right.
Dak Prescott, it's a good game.
Yeah.
It was a good game. And another part of that is Dak Prescott, he's in the MVP conversation now. You have a 9-3 Cowboys team. And the reason why I say the MVP stuff is this Dallas defense has feasted. And I even brought this up to you, Flannel. They feasted on inferior competition. And not just the defense, the team has feasted on inferior competition. And then you get Seattle, which they're 6-5, now 6-6. But coming into that matchup, although Geno was hurt, and that's why me and Lucas and even you, we all figured that it'd be a low-scoring game for Seattle because we didn't think Geno was healthy. Boy, he looked good. And that Dallas defense did not look like the defense they've looked like all year. Even Deron Bland had a pick, but man, gave up a ton of yards. But I got to give him credit. Dak Prescott, defense wasn't playing well. There's penalties flying around all around the field. He made it happen.
Yes, 100%.
And played a clean game, which is important.
He played 100% a clean game. And not only is Dak Prescott in the MVP conversation, he is right now the leader, in my humble opinion, because just listen to these numbers really quick because you know I got them. Dak Prescott is first in the NFL in touchdown passes, first in QBR, and second in quarterback rating. And the Dallas Cowboys are first in the NFL in points per game, although the 5 pick sixes from Deron Bland help, but still, that is very, very impressive. And not only that, in Dak Prescott's last 6 games, he has thrown for 20 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. The Cowboys are 5-1 in those games, and the Cowboys scored 43, 49, 33, 45, and 41 respectively. And even in the game at Philly, which there's no shame in losing at Philadelphia, the best team in the NFL record-wise, even in that game, Dak Prescott threw for 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. I know a lot of you are going to say that he's a choker and they're not going to do anything in the playoffs, but that's irrelevant at this point. Dak Prescott just a couple of years ago had an excellent regular season, 37 touchdowns, 10 picks. And let me just riddle you guys this. If Dak Prescott throws for 35 plus TDs, less than 10 picks, and the Cowboys are 12-5 at the worst, he might win this thing Patrick Mahomes is not having the year that we thought, although he's still very good. Joe Burrow's out of the discussion. Right now, Josh Allen, like besides maybe a miraculous finish to the season, he's out of the discussion. And those are 2 people that you thought would be competitors with him, 3 people that you thought would be competitors with him. So Dak Prescott could win this thing, although partly it would be taking advantage of weaker competition. But he's having a great year.
Let me ask you this, Flannel. What if C.J. Stroud and the Texans make the playoffs?
Well, C.J. Stroud is certainly in the conversation right now. I think that Dak Prescott has taken the lead, but C.J. Stroud is certainly top 5. And if they have a torrid finish at the end of the year, C.J. Stroud is certainly in the race right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why I'm giving Dak his flowers. It's more so, well, he's playing well, but the MVP conversation, there's not a clear front runner.
Right.
So it's wide open. And you guys know how I feel about Dak, and I'm not going to even give. I'm not going to give you as far as, we'll see if this continues into the postseason, because typically it does not. So I'm still going to question his playoff success, question his playoff performances. But regular season, he's put up numbers before. He can do it, and if they win games, I think he should be at least in the conversation. Lucas, he has to be.
Yeah, I mean, he deserves to be in the conversation right now for sure. I don't see 4 or 5 other quarterbacks playing the level that he does, regardless of the roster that he has, at the teams that he's playing. He's been producing, so you can't take that away from him. My thing is just like, if I look at C.J. Stroud right now, if we're talking MVP case, and C.J. Stroud somehow wills his team in the playoffs, you could argue Dak is the best player for him right now, but Micah Parsons is a more valuable player, if that makes sense. I think you could even argue that with CD. So as far as MVP goes, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I think he's very insulated for an MVP case, in my opinion.
I think for Houston, for CJ, they'd have to start winning games.
Yeah, I think if they make the playoffs, because the Jags are going to win that division. They just had the number 2 overall pick, defensive head coach, rookie head coach. He's got a rookie wide receiver instead of CD Lamb.
Right.
He doesn't have a run game. Defense is okay, but it's nothing spectacular.
I mean, yeah, CJ, I can't really say much about. He's 8th in the league in QBR, and he's top 2 in yards. So as long as the wins are there, I would be cool with CJ. I'm cool. As of right now, and if they keep losing, I don't think
Who would have thought I'd be saying this? Especially
you, right, of all people.
And we'll see. There's a big matchup this weekend. You have the 49ers and Eagles. So if Jalen Hurts has a big game, he's right back in the conversation. So there's a lot of, that's why it's wide open. And I'll give you that, Dak Prescott. One thing I will not give you, again, is postseason Dak Prescott, which I'm still trying to figure that out. We'll see how that plays out when the postseason starts. But their defense last night, it is one game, so yeah. I can't. But again, this is why we've had these conversations. That's why when you look at the rushing defense and the passing defense, some of it is skewed because you faced Mac Jones, Danny DeVito, a.k.a. Tommy DeVito, and then you faced
Bryce Young,
and then you faced Zach Wilson. So that's why, when you get your first test on Thursday night, maybe it is because it is something new they have not seen. But the other part of it is, man, it doesn't help the case when you start talking about, this defense. They're good, but are they as good as advertised given the competition they faced?
Maybe not. I had thought that there was a chance that they could be the best defense in the NFL and that DaRon Bland could be the defensive player of the year. I think that case took a little bit of a hit last night, although he did get a pick, but he allowed a lot of yards. Give it up, I will say that.
Ate that man for lunch.
He did, although, to be fair.
So did JSN, too.
To be fair, though.
JSN's a dog.
Geno Smith was putting it right on the money so many times. It's not like DaRon Bland was getting just burned by 10 yards or anything, but it's still
times.
No, that's fair. DaRon Bland didn't have his best game, but no, you're right. This Cowboys defense, I'm sure it's going to have to look itself in the mirror a little bit and reevaluate and reassess, and we all kind of wonder, are they as good as we thought they were? But here's the thing. A lot of times, I think a lot of Cowboys teams of yesteryear would have lost that game, and the Cowboys offense was able to bail them out in that situation and get a big win. You can't say anymore that the Cowboys only feast on terrible teams. I understand that the Seahawks, when you look at their final record, it might end up being 8-9 or 9-8 or something like that, but the Seahawks are a solid team, and the Cowboys, as much as Geno Smith picked the Cowboys defense apart, Dak Prescott picked the Seahawks defense apart. It was like a shootout, a quarterback duel. It was a very good one, absolutely.
Yeah, and the big thing too, at least for the Cowboys going forward, is they have a bigger test coming. They have the Eagles coming up next week. They have Buffalo. They have Miami. They have Detroit. Like, you're going to find out a lot about Dallas the next 4 games.
Yes.
And they have an opportunity to prove that. Again, you can destroy the Giants. You can destroy the Commanders. Sam Howell. Shout out Sam Howell. But that MVP case for Dak will be built over the next 4 games. There is no doubt about that. But in other news, though, I want to bring this up. Lions game flexed officially. Denver Lions, huh? They're getting flexed into prime time.
Let Russ cook on prime time Saturday night.
At Ford Field, too. I think this is great. I love when the NFL makes these last-minute kind of adjustments because, again, there's new information that you're constantly getting as the season goes on. Teams stink more than you thought or teams arise than you didn't expect to. So I think this is a perfect game given the slate of games to have on a primetime 8:15. I like it. I think it'll be a good one. Lions, I think, will still win the game. I'm not going to sit here and make a case for the Broncos, but I think it'll be a great game.
That also speaks to, obviously, the Detroit Lions are pretty much doing exactly what a lot of us fans hope that they would do for the most part this year. Be leading their division, be well in the playoff race so that there'd be some marquee games later in the year. But I thought that the main marquee games might be when they play at Minnesota or home versus Minnesota or at Dallas. But it turns out this Denver game is not as much of a gimme as maybe we would have thought at the beginning of the year. I think it's a testament to how the Denver Broncos have turned their season around, particularly on defense. Their defense was morbid at the beginning of the year, including giving up 70 to Miami, but it's improving. And I'll tell you what, man, people are really not going to like this, but I just have to put this out there. What if Russell Wilson throws for like 30 touchdowns, 6 or 7 picks, and the Broncos win 10 games? Does he get an MVP vote?
No.
Come on.
Dude, they started. What was the record at the beginning of the season?
But what if
I believe it was
around?
they were 1 and 5.
It's a cute story, but it's not an MVP case.
They were 1 and 5, and they won 5 straight. They're 6 and 5.
You tell me. So should Jared Goff have won MVP last year for that turnaround?
Lucas, they didn't make the playoffs. I'm talking if the Broncos make the playoffs.
If the Broncos make the playoffs, I still would not put Russell Wilson there. The man started out 1 and 5. He has something to do with that. It's not like the first 6 games of the season don't matter.
I know, but if he, and I don't think this is going to happen for the record, but if he gives them a playoff turnaround and 10 wins, I think 10 wins is 10 wins. You got to give him credit for that no matter what, or the team credit for that no matter what. I mean, the Lions, as great as their turnaround was last year, and it was phenomenal, they still fell short of the playoffs because putting yourself in that much of a hole, it's almost impossible to dig themselves out from. I mean, even last year, if the Lions would have made the playoffs, I wouldn't have minded Jared Goff getting some, I would say, not first place MVP votes, but some. He had a great year last year, but everybody acknowledges that Jared Goff had a great year last year, and people are still pretending that Russell Wilson is washed and a bum. That's all. I mean, I just don't like dishonesty. That's all.
All right. He's solid. He's solid.
Fair.
He's no MVP. Not anymore.
Yeah, okay. If they win 10 games, I'll just be happy with that. All right?
Just take was still alive.
Yeah, it's still alive. Super Juggernaut 87. After last night, we still worried about the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a good team. The one thing I did think was super interesting, Sam, is Geno didn't get sacked once. And I'm not saying that's going to be a consistent theme, but what I am saying is like, wow. I was just watching the game. You can't help if you're a Lions fan to kind of look at how can the Lions kind of take advantage of some of the things the Cowboys struggle to do. And they were able to run the ball decently with Zach Charbonnet before he got hurt. I think it'll be a good matchup in Dallas. The Cowboys, they're undefeated. They're 6-0, but we'll see. Every game's different in the NFL, but if the Cowboys show up and play like that, as long as the referees there, which was crazy, this is ridiculous. The referees in totality, you know how much total yards from penalties that were given out yesterday? Total yards. 257.
That's insane.
257 on 19 penalties.
Crazy.
10 for Seattle, 9 for Dallas. 9 for 127 for Dallas, 10 for 130 from the Seahawks. I hate that when the refs get involved. Like they're changing outcomes. I get some of it. Some of it was fair. Some of it was ticky-tacky stuff, like ridiculous, like Tariq Woolen touching the shoulder of CeeDee Lamb, and it's a PI call.
The drive
what are
where
we doing?
Seattle had to score 3 times from their own 5 was ridiculous. In the second drive, it was a drive after that where Dallas had numerous offensive pass interference that were going for them. It was just simple contact was insane. I mean, I know they went both ways, but it was just disgusting. When refs have to talk that much in the game, that's just them wanting to be known that they're a referee in the NFL. It has nothing to do with regulating the game, in my opinion.
No, that's when you're adding your input. unnecessarily, and that's not correct there. For this comment too, I want to make some corrections. Let's see here. Galloping Lake. I thought the game was ended by Micah Parsons' sack on Smith. It didn't technically count as a sack, but yes, you're right. They did pressure Geno late. But for most
pressure, those useless pressures, right?
But most of the game, they did not really sniff Geno. He got the ball out super quickly, which was beneficial for them. Detroit supremacy. Man, Jeff, I'm surprised you showed up and did your job today with that Hutch hat. Usually that name means the opposite. Oh, my gosh. Well, okay. Strays at Hutch this morning. Let's go.
Detroit supremacy is the single worst person in this chat. I saw some of the things you were saying earlier on.
Rashad?
I can't lie.
I would take a million shots over one Detroit supremacy. Some of the stuff he was saying in the chat earlier today was just so out of pocket. And I know you're trolling a little bit, but it's... Oh my God! And it's fine. I'm happy that you listen. I'm happy that you comment. But man,
I can't lie. That was kind of funny. I can't lie. I can't lie. Chef Talk says, you know why Geno didn't get sacked, Jeff? It's because he moves in, through, and out the pocket.
Hey,
I got nothing for you,
Did
Chef.
you guys even see Dak when Fred Taylor was dragging him to the ground? He broke the tackle. He rolled out and hit Jalen Tolbert on like a 12-yard, just little like play. It wasn't obviously
just
the route,
simple
but
stuff. Just being mobile.
Had him dead to rights.
And I know I'm a Goff guy somewhat. I'm definitely not as much as I want, but Goff is never doing that. And that's Dak Prescott, who we always clown.
Yeah.
Put that out there.
Me. Hey, I'll stand up. I clown him. I do. He's having a good season. I can't lie. All right, let's go to break. When we come back, we'll preview the Detroit Lions the New Orleans Saints. What do the Lions need to do in order to come out with a victory? I got a practice report update for you guys that was sent from Matt Broder. I'll get that out to you, see who was at practice, who wasn't, and then, of course, we'll break down the game and Jared Goff at 8:30 because I think those two things are intertwined. Jared Goff, speaking of him, this week. 8:45, we'll go through the NFC playoff picture as it currently stands, look at the matchups. I know it might have changed a little bit from last night, but regardless, we're still going to look at the playoff picture. 9 o'clock, we'll go around the NFL. We'll give our picks. 9:16, we're going to preview Michigan versus Iowa, Big Ten championship game. Sam Flannel, I know he's fired up for it. We'll go around college football as well and talk about some other championship games and some other games, give out our pick'ems, of course. And then 9:30, Lions game predictions. We got the graphic. You'll see our final scores. And then what's trending with Lucas, and then Lucas mailbag. The last 20 minutes of the show, it's about Lucas Klotz, all right? It's about the ball knower.
Appreciate you, fellas.
All right, let's go to break here. First, I got to tell you about our friends over at Hamlin Pub because we'll be there on Saturday in Richmond. Yes, in Richmond at Hamlin Pub, doing a pregame show for the Michigan versus Iowa Big Ten championship game. Sam Flannel will be there. I will be there. Lucas will be there. Booner will be there. Spencer, the whole crew. I think it's Spencer, Flannel, Booner, and the guys are going to hold on the show. We'll be there. Spectators will be in there in support. If you're in the area or you're not too far, head over to Hamlin Pub in Richmond. Come say hi. It'll be a lot of fun. Just kind of watching the game, breaking it down. We're going to head over to Cicerelli's after, of course, and go visit our friend Stick. But Hamlin Pub's the place, man. We're going to get the wings. Look at those wings up there. It's absolutely delicious. Come on. The wings are spot on. I'm getting myself some wings when I go there Saturday. Check them off. Check them out. They got deals. Half off pizza on Thursdays. Game day specials. Hamlin Pub is the place. Visit location today, like the one in Richmond. We'll be there on Saturday and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live every home game for the official Lions VIP tailgate party. It's at Eastern Market in Shed number 5, and it is always a bash. Starting at 9:30 a.m. until game time, the official Lions tailgate is back and better than ever. How would you like to pregame it with Woodward Sports and be treated like a VIP? Food, beverages, and entertainment all included. Get your tickets online today at bullseyeeventgroup.com or win some from Woodward Sports today. Just subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on IG, and direct message Lions VIP.
Man, oh man, big game this Sunday. Lions taking on the Saints. And Lucas, if you could do it for me, just put up the practice report because I think this is valuable information. Who's practicing, who's not. As you can see, Alex Anzalone, that's the most important one on there because he has not practiced all week. He's not playing. Jack Campbell, it's already been announced. AG said it. He's wearing the green dot. He's calling plays on defense. That's big time. He gets to play his natural position on Sunday. I think if I'm watching anyone on defense, yeah, I'm going to watch Aiden Hutchinson. I got the hat on. But I'm watching Jack Campbell and how he kind of orchestrates this defense and keeps everyone in line. Well, listen, Jack Campbell, he's a guy that you can rely on, at least tackling. For the most part, he tackles. That's one thing he can do. But the other things, the coverage, we're going to get to see a lot of Jack Campbell this week. We'll see the 18th overall pick, time to step up. Frank Ragnow, he practiced on Wednesday, did not practice on Thursday. He'll be playing. Hendon Hooker, look at that, limited practice, then a full practice. Hendon Hooker is back in the fold. Jonah Jackson, look at that. That's a big one too. One of the best guards in the league. Limited practice, full practice Thursday. He'll be playing, expected to. Ifitu Melifonwu, full practice. Wow, for all the iffy lovers out there. He's coming to lock up on Sunday. Iffy. He practiced as well. David Montgomery had a foot injury. He practiced, and of course Tracy practiced. So the two significant ones: Jonah Jackson, Alex Anzalone. Those two guys. Jonah playing. Alex Anzalone will not be on his return to New Orleans. It's unfortunate. I'd prefer him and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, former Saints. But it is, like I said earlier, man, it's the Jack Campbell game. It's an opportunity for him to step up.
Ooh, and and this isn't any disrespect to Jack Campbell. I think that there's still a chance that he can be a very good player in this league. But while the Lions are in a playoff push, while they have some tough games moving forward, including at New Orleans, who have a lot of injuries and have been disappointing this year, I would prefer not to give the keys to Jack Campbell, who has been, I would say, slightly underwhelming this season. I kind of joked before, and this is going to sound kind of mean, but I don't really care, that we need to take the meat missile shirts out of stock until the time being. But hey, this is the time. If you want to be the meat missile again.
Don't speak too soon, Phone. You can make that on Monday. You can make that decision on Monday. How about that?
That's fair. I will give you that. But so far, he's been kind of, like I said, all of the other first couple round picks, like Brian Branch and Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta, they have all had like exemplary seasons for the most part. But Jack Campbell's been a little, I don't know.
Inconsistent.
Inconsistent is the right word. And I'm worried about this linebacking core without Alex Anzalone in this game and maybe moving forward, because we don't really know how long-term of an injury it is for Alex Anzalone, because a lot of you, and I don't even hate the argument, would argue that he's been their best defensive player this year, at least their most consistent. I can't think of too many games where Alex Anzalone played poorly, except maybe against the Packers, the game where he got hurt, the last one, in which not a lot of people did play well. I'm a little worried, especially when you got Alvin Kamara in the backfield. And I'm not saying that any of the linebackers like Jack Campbell are going to mark him one-on-one. That would be idiotic for Aaron Glenn to do, and he's not going to do that. But still, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a void, but maybe this is the game. This is the Jack Campbell rookie legacy game, which can propel him to a strong finish. I don't know. Sometimes it takes a minute for rookies.
And I think the biggest thing for Jack Campbell, Lucas, if we're talking about how to measure him, have a successful game, have a good game, is in coverage. That's to me is the most important. You look at a Saints passing offense right now that is, give me 1 second, 11th in the NFL. The Saints rank 11th. They average 242.7 yards per game. And then you got Jack Campbell, who went and targeted, gives up a passer rating of 131.
Oh, God.
So we've been talking about Anzalone a whole lot, but one thing you cannot question about Anzalone is his pass coverage. And then here comes Jack Campbell, big test for him, 131 passer rating allowed, and this is a top 11 passing offense. That's a matchup. Interesting matchup.
And he's going to have his hands full. He's going to have Alvin Kamara, Taysom Hill, and Juwan Johnson. You can say what you want about Juwan Johnson, but he's a great receiving tight end, and that's Jack Campbell. I don't think he's going to be able to hold all that down. I really don't. I think that'd be unfair to expect of him as well. I know he's a first-round pick, but Alvin Kamara is an elite receiving back. Taysom Hill is just an absolute weapon that they know how to manipulate in the coverage, so they get him open through the run game as well. Juwan Johnson, really good route runner. So he's going to have a little bit of mismatches, but the thing with New Orleans, they have the 11th ranked passing offense, but they just chuck that shit, man. They have really no run game. They try to get Alvin Kamara going. Some games he can if it's against a poor run defense, but I don't think he's going to have that much production against Detroit against the run game. So to your point, he does need to step up. But that's why, like I said earlier on in the week, it's so vital that Tracy Walker, Kirby Joseph, and Brian Branch all step up as well, because you can't expect Rodrigo and Jack Campbell to be able to hold those three people down. So safety is more athletic. If they can do their job, I think the Lions won't be perfectly fine. I still think they're going to struggle a little bit, but they'll be able to contain all those guys.
And for the people talking about Bob Johnson, Campbell will be fine. He'll be at his natural position. Detroit supremacy. Maybe Campbell's moving to his natural position. He'll show out. There is that, of course, but the other thing that I think you have to take into account here for at least the Saints passing offense, Sam, is Chris Olave's. He had like 2 light practices this week. So, for all the people that are assuming he'll be out, it's his second concussion in 2 years. So maybe they lean on the side of caution there with Chris Olave, but they're also chasing their division. I could see Chris Olave playing as well. So, they do have some weapons hurt. Michael Thomas is out, but if Chris Olave's back, and then you got the one that nobody can stop in Taysom Hill, the man, he's too agile, like Spencer would say. It's going to cause some issues. Chris Olave, I think, will be back this week.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about the Saints, where there's some question marks when it comes to injuries. And I'll actually give Brandon Katz credit for this, because he brings up the point of Marshawn Lattimore and Cam Jordan likely being out. I believe Marshawn Lattimore is on injured reserve. But those guys are still very, very good players. But it's not like losing those guys in 2019, because Marshawn Lattimore is no longer their best corner. Paulson Adebo is. In fact, if the season ended today, he might be first-team All-Pro at this point. He has had a hell of a year. And when it comes to edge rushers, Cam Jordan, although he has a borderline Hall of Fame career as it stands, he's not the guy that he used to be. And right now, their best edge rusher is Carl Granderson, but they also don't have a ton of depth at that position. So if there's no Cam Jordan, you might be looking at Carl Granderson having a situation similar to what Hutch has, with not a whole lot of help as a bookend edge rusher. Maybe Isaiah Foskey, but he's a rookie. And we all know sometimes it takes a while for rookies to acclimate themselves, and maybe he's no good. He was a second rounder. Who knows?
Would you guys agree with this? I'll go through my key matchups. I kind of went through it this week, but I'm going to lay it out, and this is kind of how I see it playing out. So the Lions have to do these things well. Number one, dominate the trenches. Offensive line, I think, is a good opportunity for them to rebound, especially in the run game. David Montgomery, Jameer, you know how I feel about them. The best duo in the NFL, I believe. Lions rushing offense ranks 6th right now. I said it yesterday, 136.9 yards per game. They're going up against the 23rd ranked run defense from the Saints. So that's an opportunity right there. Get the run game going, establish play action. The Saints allow 124 yards per game. I think this could be, you could be talking about a 200-yard on the ground type of performance from this run game. The other thing is, and then that goes on the defensive side as well. I'm talking about defensive line. You got to get to Derek Carr, man. You have to. You can't allow these big plays to develop. Chris Olave, if he plays especially, he's the guy that they're going to be, like you said, Lucas, earlier, chucking the ball downfield to. Olave is a big play waiting to happen. You got to get to Derek Carr. You got to get pressures, not just pressures, but you got to get them down. You got to get sacks. You got to end drives. The other thing is the red zone defense. It's bad on bad. Like that's what this is. Lions red zone defense, 30th in the NFL. Saints red zone offense, 29th in the NFL. Maybe one of them's going to have to play well today, unless it's just a barn burner. But those are the keys. The other thing is winning the turnover battle, which the Lions, they've gotten so lucky this year with that. Yeah, they've lost the turnover battle and still won games. Good luck. When you start facing better competition, you cannot turn the ball over. And if you do, you got to get takeaways on defense. This is a Saints defense that right now in the NFL is tied for, really quickly, I want to make sure, 4th in the NFL in takeaways, 4th. Ooh. And I believe they're 2nd in interceptions. So, again, this is a team that likes to take the ball away. Tyrann Mathieu has 3 picks. Paulson Adebo has 4 picks, I believe. So this is on Jared. This is on the rest of the guys as well, because the Lions over the last couple of weeks, they've been turning the ball over. Not just Jared. Jared has, but other players as well. Cannot turn the ball over. So those are the really 3 things. Dominating the trenches, red zone defense. The Saints offense hasn't been able to score and convert in the red zone, and then winning that turnover battle. Those are the 3 things to me that if they can do, On the road, they should come out with a victory.
Well, I mean, you even look at the last game that the New Orleans Saints played. What did they have? 6 chances to score, some of them in the red zone. They had a pick 6 and 5 field goals. So, and that was against the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm not saying the Falcons, they might actually have a better defense than the Lions as presently constructed, but they have had a hard time finishing drives. And that is the difference probably for a couple of wins or probable wins have turned to losses. And one thing that you mentioned about the running game, and I know this is, I don't want to jinx them or anything like that, or I don't want to speak too soon, but I don't see a scenario where the Lions don't run the football effectively.
Right.
The key is to just not get down by 2 scores so early like they did against the Bears and against the Packers, to where they kind of had to abandon the run game. Because even in those games, the last time that the run game really wasn't effective was the game against the Bucs. Ever since then, especially with Monty and Gibbs back, and even against the Raiders with Gibbs and Craig Reynolds, it's been pretty much a machine. And if the Lions can get ahead, I don't see any pathway for the Saints to win this game. But it's all about getting ahead early, just pounding the rock, using play action, and just letting that clock tick, 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 and have long, sustained drives. This could be a get-right game.
Tick, 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 tick. And Lucas, and talk about another good on bad Lions run defense, which has been solid all year. They're top 5 in the NFL. The Saints run rushing offense, they're 19th.
Yeah.
So again, like, there's a lot of matchups that favor the Lions, but again, that doesn't matter when you're turning the ball over. Like, it's hard to turn the ball over 2-3 times and still win games. Like, in the NFL, it's hard. They've done it. They've turned the ball over, 3 times to 1 turnover for the Raiders. They beat the Raiders. They turned the ball over 4 times to the Bears 1 time. They beat the Bears. But then when you have the Packers, you turn the ball over 3 times, you lose. You turn the ball over 3 times against the Seahawks, you lose. Even the Ravens, that wasn't all about everything about turnovers. They just got destroyed, so that doesn't really count. But other games as well, they've been even with turnovers. They found a way to win. Chiefs, they've turned the ball over once. Chiefs turned the ball over once. They won. You got to keep it. You can't be turning the ball over 2, 3, 4 times and expect to win. It's hard, especially for when you're not playing your best. It's nearly impossible. All right, let's go to break. When we come back here, we'll talk about Jared Goff. How much pressure is he under to get back on track? Do you have faith he can cut the turnovers down and they can play efficiently? We'll give our thoughts on that and much more. But first, we got to hear about our friends from Premier Pet.
Of course, you got to talk about my pets. And when it comes to your
Jake
pet,
and Milo.
don't settle. I don't settle when it comes to my golden retriever Jake and my orange cat Milo. Yes, you guys all know by now. Give your pet the best like I give my pet the best. They get the best food, treats, and toys around, and Premier Pets has all of that. Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years with 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food, lowest prices and curbside home delivery. Premier Pet Supply, give your pet the best. Visit their website at premierpetsupply.com.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
How would you like to win a $1,000 Vegas getaway? Take your friends and live it up in a city that never sleeps. It's a Centron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win. Register at drinkcentron.com/Vegas and buy Centron at your local Myers store. Hey, where's the silent S there? Myers. Centron, the healthier energy drink with great taste. Look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself with Centron. Drink Centron.com/Vegas.
There we go.
We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. I love this comment. It is, I believe it's sarcastic. Detroit Supremacy says, no Pistons talk today? No Pistons talk today. Kool-Aid, he understands that as well. We are going to, he gets it.
do.
He
I
understands.
definitely
It's
do.
Friday. We're previewing the Lions, the Red Wings. We could talk about them. They won last night.
Big win.
So, there's other things right now going on, but yeah, the Pistons
Pistons are on
lost close.
timeout right now.
You could argue the Pistons losing close is a storyline. Like, we could talk about that all day, huh? They lost close, guys. Let's talk about it. No, we're not talking about it today. Killian Hayes, though, started, huh?
Cade had
Go
a good
on,
game.
go on.
Put that to the moon, right?
Killian Hayes, right? We'll start that up again. All right, let's talk about Jared Goff really quickly, because last 2 games, 6 turnovers. It can't happen. We understand that. 3 fumbles, 3 interceptions. It just cannot happen. He knows that. And I'm going to try and be fair here with the Jared Goff stuff, because we could easily say, well, the 6 turnovers in 2 games, it kind of shows us a flash of what he was before he got to Detroit, a turnover-prone quarterback. Actually, his last year in L.A., he had the most turnovers among all quarterbacks, at least during his career. He's changed that narrative now. Josh Allen's kind of taken the crown. But for Jared Goff, though, he's given us a big enough sample size, Lucas and Sam and Brandon, that I'm not going to say he's a turnover-prone machine right now. There's 6 games left. He has an opportunity to kind of go out there and show that he is still the quarterback he is in Detroit. He's grown. He doesn't have to turn the ball over. I get all that, because Jared's job is very simple. I'm not asking this man to throw for 350 yards, 2 TDs, 3 TDs, although he's done that at times. All that he needs to do with this offensive line and this run game this week, take care of the football. Do not give this inept, at times, Saints offense a short field. It can't happen. And that's not just Jared. That's other players on this offense as well, turning the ball over. But for Jared, I have confidence he'll play a clean game this week. I do. And I'm going to say that because I do believe it. I think Jared has shown that when he does, and he had this thing going on at the beginning of the season where when he throws a pick, he would respond with a touchdown. I think we're witnessing a much more mature version of Jared Goff. So I'm going to lean on the side of I'm confident he'll kind of get these turnovers out of his system and continue to play well the rest of the season. Now, we'll see how that plays. You got a defense this week, like I said, that turns the ball over at a high rate. They're 4th in the league in takeaways. But again, I'm going to lean on the big sample size we have of Jared Goff so far, Sam, that he will not turn the ball over. He just can't happen.
Well, that's the thing. When you look at the totality of Jared Goff's career, he had some flashes with the Rams, particularly the last couple of years when he wasn't as good and Todd Gurley was declining and then was off the team, where he did have a tendency to turn the football over, particularly with fumbles, but he had a pretty high interception rate as well. And that has kind of reared its ugly head in the last couple of games. I mean, 6 turnovers in the last 2 games, that is 100% unacceptable. And I think a lot of us have changed our mindset on him to some extent, and I think he would be the first to say, I got to do better with that, because it definitely cost them the game against the Packers, and it probably should have cost them a game against the Bears. The fact that Jared Goff has turned the ball over 6 times in the last 2 games, and the Lions managed to be 1-1 in that stretch, is actually a goddamn miracle at this point. So maybe the Lions will be able to right the ship. Jared Goff can go back to playing good, clean football, and the Lions can still have their excellent season where they finish 12-5, 13-4, win the division, hopefully can compete for the 2 seed, but I'd say more realistically the 3. And Jared Goff, as we all know, at the end of last year and going into this year, what did Jared Goff have? About over 400 passing attempts without an interception, and that is a big sample size. So Jared Goff has showed a lot that he has a lot of the tendencies he had to turn the football over early on in his career. He's cleaned that up, and he's played cleaner football. He certainly has played cleaner football during his time with the Lions than he did during his time with the Rams, even when the Rams were really good in 2017 and 2018. But the Saints do present a bit of a challenge because I'm looking at it right now, and you mentioned it, Jeff, how the Saints have done a pretty good job of turning other teams over. And the New Orleans Saints this season have a +6 turnover differential. The Lions have a -5, which, hell, the fact that they're 8-3 with a -5 turnover differential is also kind of a goddamn miracle. But then again, we'll take it. 8-3 is phenomenal. But the Saints, I mean, they've got Paulson Adebo like being one of the best corners in the league and also a certified ball hawk this year. He's got 4. You got Tyrann Mathieu with 3. Marshawn Lattimore is going to be out, and that's something that the Lions could take advantage of because, you know, they've got some receivers opposite Amon-Ra St. Brown that can make some plays, like Jamison Williams, who's emerging, and Josh Reynolds and the like. And we shall see. Yes, I'm giving Jamison Williams credit. Right on Lucas's last day,
Yep.
but he's earned it. I can see that he's emerging into this offense. So I would probably predict a get-right game for Jared Goff as well. But the Saints are no joke. And if Jared Goff turns the football over multiple times again, then it becomes too much of a trend to where we can't ignore it. And we're kind of like, oh my God, this guy's a turnover machine again. He can't make it a habit. He got away with it once. It cost him once. Just don't do it again.
And that's it. That's all that needs to be said, Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we could say, you know, we could talk about Hendon and the potential he has. We have not seen him in an NFL game, or we have not seen much of him at practice yet. So to say that he's the future at this very point, we just don't know. But he hears the talks. Like Jared's, he's been in this league for a while.
This isn't the first time he's been in a situation like this where he's getting questioned.
Absolutely played a big market in LA. He knows. He watched the draft. I mean, the Lions took Hendon Hooker. He's not going to sit there and be like, oh, Brad's just taking a throwaway pick. No, there's a reason why Brad took him. He's got a ton of potential. And if Jared keeps turning the ball over, not saying it will happen, but let's say if it does happen, Lucas, those conversations about Hendon are going to keep increasing. The questions coming at the podium, the questions coming to Jared Goff. Not that he'll ever play this year. There's no way in hell he'll play this year. I do not believe that. But just for next year, it's like, oh, how does Hendon look in practice? Like, Jared has to kind of quiet the narrative and just continue to play well. Just control what he can control.
Spot on. Control what he can control. Go out there and play confident, and Jared Goff will be fine. When Jared Goff gets flustered, and it doesn't even have to be his fault, that's when things start falling apart. But if he just realizes he goes back into the form that he was, that he has an excellent offensive line, he has an excellent wide receiver, an excellent run game, just to check the ball out of, because even last week against the Packers, there's wide open guys in the flats, and he's looking down the field to try to create a big play and swing that momentum. That's when Jared Goff starts making mistakes. If he just plays Jared Goff football and takes what's given to him, he'll get right back on track. I just get annoyed when Jared Goff tries to act like something he's not, and sometimes it's not always his fault because the line was breaking down last week, but when you're a quarterback with that much experience, at this point in your career, you should know. Let's just slow the game down. Instead of trying to get all these points back right now, slow the game down, take what's given to me. And like you could tell, he's thinking way too much out there. The amount of audibles he's doing at the line of scrimmage, that's fine to do every now and then, but it was consistent. You could see he did not have a feel for the game. So if he just calms down, like you said, Jeff, takes what's given to him, I think Jared Goff will be fine for at least the remainder of this season, absolutely.
No, I'm with you, Lucas. Brandon, I want to ask you about the whole Jared Goff stuff, at least over the last 2 games. Turned the ball over a lot, but where are you at with Jared and your confidence level for him moving forward? You think he'll just get back to what he's been doing, or what's your confidence level in Jared?
Yeah, no, look, I think he's set a track record that he's not as careless with the ball as he's shown in the last 2 games. Over a stretch of a good stretch for the Lions, going back to about the middle of last season, coming into this year. If all these turnovers were interceptions and not fumbles, I would probably be a lot more worried. Obviously, a quarterback's job is to take care of the ball, but I do believe that some of the hits, some of the game plans that were schemed up against him over the last 2 weeks, they were specifically designed to take advantage of some weak points in the Lions' offensive line. I think heading into this next game, if I see him having the fumbles again, that's when I start to get a little bit worried, because that's a 3-game trend. You know, you got to cut that out. If it was, some of the interceptions he's had, they were tipped. People are running, the wrong routes and things of that nature. And you want to see him as a veteran quarterback make sure that he limits those mistakes when other people on the team makes mistakes. That is a sign of a great quarterback, and I want to see him be able to step into that light if he has that possibility. But ultimately, like I said, if it was more interceptions than just the fumbles, I would probably be a lot more worried.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, we can all agree that with Jared, no one is rooting for him to fail, But the reality is yes, if you're a Lions fan, you want Jared to keep playing clean. You don't want him to play bad. There's no way, no how. Especially for a team that you think will eventually be chasing Super Bowls. Yeah, you have to evaluate everybody. No one's safe on this roster. Even Jared with his sample size. Yeah, you look for him to play better. It's that simple. And I think he will this week. Let's go to break. When we come back, we'll bring up the NFC playoff picture, talk about who the Lions will match up with, some of the teams, where the ranking is or the seedings are, and we'll have that discussion. And then when we come back, or when we go to break after that, we'll go around the NFL, give our picks for the weekend. We'll save the Lions one, though, for 9:30. But first, I got to tell you about our friends over at Planet Fitness, because Jared, who knows, he might be getting in there. That dad bod, he might be trying to clean it up a little bit. Who knows?
Maybe step over the bags at practice.
Yeah, well,
damn.
It's the home of the judge-free zone, where anybody, and I mean anybody, even Jared, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym, tons of equipment, full-body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You'll get all of this for just $10 a month. No matter where you are, there's always a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. Maybe you'll see a new rule there. Check them out, Planet Fitness.
Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Fairway Packing. For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Co. has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry aged beef. Experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks, or order online at fairwaypacking.com.
Get your meats.
Get your meats. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. If you do us a favor, hit the like button. We're, 27 away from hitting 100 likes. So if you could do that for us, be much appreciated. Hope everyone's having a good morning. I know Steve Wilds isn't. He says Jeff calling out any other's body is comical, stick boy. Well, Steve Wilds.
Jesus.
Steve Wilds. Who pissed in your Cheerios? That's all I ask. And one of us plays for the Lions, to be honest with you. Me and Jared Goff. I do not. So there's your argument there. Appreciate you, Steve. Much love. All right, let's get to the NFC playoff picture here, because I do want to talk about some of the matchups here. The Eagles, very simply, have the #1 seed. They're going to be kind of hard to chase unless they go on a losing streak here. We'll see. They're 10-1. At number 2 right now, the San Francisco 49ers. They are 8-3. Same with the Detroit Lions. They are 8-3. The Dallas Cowboys are now 9-3. All right, they just won a game. So they've jumped at least the Lions and the 49ers. The 49ers have the head-to-head matchup, though. And then you have division winners like the Atlanta Falcons at this very point, because they have the tiebreaker with the Saints. The Lions, if the playoffs were to start right now, they take on the Seattle Seahawks, who are 6-6. I think they'll still make the playoffs. But check these matchups out. And Sam Flannel, Seattle, not ideal, but a team you should beat at home.
Yeah, I mean, you should, 100%. And the Seahawks, I mean, the funny thing is they have a game at San Francisco coming up and home against Philadelphia. So they might even slip to the 7th seed at some point or out of the playoffs.
And something, not to cut you off, if the Rams beat the Browns this Sunday, which is very likely to happen, the Rams will now be probably in the 6th spot, if I had to guess, because they have a win over the Seahawks, and they have the same record.
All right, well, man, my head's going to start spinning. So you know what? We're going to talk about not what could happen, but what is right now, and that is fair. The Seahawks, like I've said before, it's going to be a tough matchup. And, You've seen what the Seahawks offense has done to the Lions defense the last couple of years, pretty much picked them apart. And when you saw what the Seahawks did last night at Dallas, it was very, very impressive. And it has me a little worried about what a DK Metcalf can do against our secondary, which should have CJ Gardner-Johnson back, by the way, then, which will be huge.
Yep.
And maybe James Houston rushing the passer, making sure that Geno Smith doesn't have as much time. But that offense, it looked very, very good, and it didn't even have Kenneth Walker. And, I'm pretty sure, I think Kenneth Walker, it's not super long-term, or am I wrong? Okay, so in theory, he should be back for the playoffs. And like I said before, the Seahawks just seem to have the Lions' number in some way. It would be symbolic to vanquish some demons, but at this point, as a Lions fan, I don't want to vanquish any demons. I just want to win. I don't want the Seahawks. Not a chance in hell. Well, I want the Vikings or someone like that.
Well, think of this scenario. The Seahawks, their games coming up, they are on a 3-game losing streak. They've lost to the Rams, the 49ers, and the Dallas Cowboys. They have the 49ers again on the road. Yeah. They have Philly at home, and then they have Tennessee, Pittsburgh, and Arizona. So 3 of the 5 are tough games. They have winning records, 3 of the 5. So the Seahawks could be on a little losing skid here. And then you have the Minnesota Vikings, who actually don't have too bad of a schedule. So there's that as well. I would much rather face the Vikings. And then you have to take into account, Lucas, the Dallas Cowboys just won. So the Lions might slide down a seed depending on what happens this weekend.
I mean, and the thing I didn't even think about was that the Packers have a win over the Rams. So if the Rams win this week, the Packers win this week, the Packers and Vikings are both going to be in the playoffs. So if that continues to be the trend, because the Packers don't have that difficult of a schedule either, I really want the Packers to be the matchup I want to see, which, in the way they're playing, I don't think that's too crazy to say. But if I had to pick between Dallas and Seahawks right now, I think my gut instantly tells me Seahawks. But when I think about it, and it's just how suspect that Dallas run defense looked last night against the run. On the road, they usually struggle a little bit more. I'd rather probably play the Dallas Cowboys, honestly, especially because they're playing in Week 17, so you kind of know what they are. And they can say the same thing for us, but it's most likely that CJ Gardner-Johnson won't be in that game. James Houston will probably be back, but not full participant. You expect both those guys to be back 100% for playoff time. So, I mean, the Seahawks have played against, did James Houston get hurt week 1 or was it week 2?
He got hurt in the week 2 game, so he was a non-factor.
But CJ Gardner-Johnson played, so just because of matchups and just been there before, I'd rather play the Cowboys, but I don't think it's let me play the Cowboys. I would still be shitting a brick before that game. I'd be very nervous, and I wouldn't be the most confident Lions fan before that game. I'd say that much.
And Sam, I think that's where you have Minnesota for the Lions. You have Minnesota twice, and you have Dallas on the road. Those 3 games, man, depending on what the Vikings record looks like, not for the division, but just for seeding purposes. And then the road game against Dallas, who now has 1 more win than you, and you have a chance to respond this weekend. It's going to get interesting at the end of the year. It will be.
Who would have thought, and I'll pull this up real quick, at the beginning of the season, if I told you that there will possibly 3 NFC North teams in the playoffs this year. Instead of the NFC West, I mean, the NFC South obviously not, but even the NFC East, you could see Dallas, maybe Washington being in there. There's some hype around there, and obviously Philly. But NFC North, if they get 3 teams in, it's and that's one of the worst divisions in football, in my opinion, too.
I think it speaks more to the NFC.
So?
Yeah, the NFC North, we could be impressive. You get 3 teams in.
No, I don't think it is. But to your point,
the NFC's so bad. Even the Seahawks, I thought they'd have 8, 9, 10.
The Giants are in the hunt somehow.
Yes. And wouldn't the Bears then be in the hunt too at this point? I mean, they're 4-8.
Yeah, see, why are the Giants in the hunt? That's criminal.
DeVito.
That's criminal. And then you have Seattle, who's 6-6. They're kind of on the verge of going either way with a tough slate of games coming up. So, yeah, the NFC. I mean, you have the Atlanta. That division, the NFC South, is so bad.
Yeah.
And that's why the Saints game is important, because they have a lot to still kind of play for. Their division, making the playoffs. They're not a team. They're a team that wants to spoil other teams, but also win their own division. That's still an opponent that has a lot to play for. It's not like some team that has 2 wins on the season and they're just out here, hey, try and win. No, the Saints team has a lot to play for.
Oh,
and Lions do as well.
I mean, they most certainly do, because the Saints, we talk about how disappointing this season has been, especially when you look at how the other teams have done this year, especially a team like the Carolina Panthers, who I don't think any of us anticipated would be the worst team in the league. The Saints probably feel like they should have taken a stranglehold on this division, but they have not. But they have a chance to do that. If they beat the Lions, which I hope to God doesn't happen, obviously, if they beat the Lions this Sunday, that could be a bit of a season-saving win for them at this point, or a momentum start. It would be absolutely huge. But yeah, when we talk about the playoff picture, it's funny because if the Lions play either the Cowboys or the Seahawks, I will have this pit in my stomach the whole week.
I think all Lions fans should.
Absolutely, for those two teams.
It would be ignorant not to, in my
And
opinion.
this speaking of ignorance, Brandon Katz, Sam and Jeff sound pathetic. They are afraid of a 6-6 Seattle team. Number one, who said they're afraid of Seattle? I mean, it's more so Seattle out of that bunch. If you're talking about teams that are 500, if you don't think Seattle's a threat, you're pathetic.
Well,
like if you think Seattle's just some bum, you watch how they played last night or how they played against the Lions. I think you're pathetic if you don't think they're a threat.
Well, and I've joked about this because Lucas, you've always given the joke that Arrowhead is now Burrowhead or Campbell Head, but we might as well call Ford Field Geno Smith Field at this point, and that is fair if we're doing kind of equal comparisons. I'm just saying, or Pete Carroll Field, however you want to say it, or DK Metcalf Field, because the Seahawks have dominated the Lions, at least their offense versus our defense, both of the matchup this year and last year. And I'm not saying that I'm necessarily afraid isn't the wrong word. I would say weary, because it's been so long since the Lions have won a playoff game.
Lucas, put the graphic up. Let's just clear this up right now. This is very simple. Who you're going to be facing, okay? You have Seattle, who is a team that you're expected to face, but who would you rather face, Seattle or the Vikings?
Seattle, without a doubt.
You'd rather
who? I thought you said who wouldn't you?
Who
I
would you
rather
rather
play
face?
The Vikings.
Okay,
sure.
let's say the Packers sneak in. Seattle or Green Bay?
That's who I want more than anybody.
Seattle or the Rams?
Yeah, just keep going.
See what I'm saying? Like, dude, if you don't, that's one of the worst takes I've ever heard. I mean, the Seattle's still a threat. You didn't watch last night then, but regardless, this would be an opportunity. What a storyline, though, for a team that's had your number. You get to face them at Ford Field to win your first playoff game in a long time. You know, Lucas, I hold on to what you said. It's hard to beat a team 3 times.
No, it's true, though.
It is true.
It is
absolutely true. But, man, Sam's right. Especially Pete Carroll and that offense has had their number. They have.
That defense, too. That defense is
at least,
incredibly
with
underrated.
turnovers.
I don't think they're an elite defense, but they have a dude at all 3 levels of the defense.
They do, but to kind of do the reverse angle of it, the Lions offense hasn't had too much trouble with the Seahawks defense over the last couple of years.
That's true.
The Seahawks defense looked pretty damn vulnerable yesterday, and I know us Lions fans aren't ready to concede or willing to concede that the Lions have a worse offense than the Cowboys. And the Cowboys lit them up, so in theory the Lions should be able to as well. But every single game is different. Every single game is in a vacuum. I'm just saying that if you're giving me scenarios of Cowboys, Seahawks, or Vikings, I would want to face the Vikings the most. But you know what's the funny thing? I think Lions fans want to play the Vikings, but the Lions might have the biggest role in knocking them out of the playoffs because they might beat them twice. It's just
that's true.
That's why these playoff scenarios are just so yeah.
It'll probably be Green Bay getting it instead of the Vikings. I think 2 teams from the North will. I think it'd be hard not to.
Yeah, especially how with just the NFC and how it is right now, you're probably right. If the Lions hand the Vikings 2 L's and the Packers win some game,
even 1 to be honest, because the Vikings they're going to take probably 2 other ones throughout the rest of the regular season.
What's the? Let me check really quickly. What's the Vikings schedule coming up? They have the Raiders, the Bengals,
and they're going to get Justin Jefferson back soon.
So they have the Raiders, Bengals, Detroit, Green Bay, Detroit.
So
so they'll face
those
Green Bay.
last 3 games are what'll make or break them.
On New Year's Eve, they'll take Green Bay.
Ooh, that'll be a good game. Where's it at?
It is at Minnesota.
Ooh.
So, a lot easier. I shouldn't say easy, but not as difficult as what Seattle's facing with their next 3 games. But regardless, because that Bengals game, new information, no Joe Burrow. So that looked a lot scarier before the season than it does now.
It's huge.
And I want to ask Kool-Aid. I want to go to the voice of reason because he is filling in for the voice of reason, and Kool-Aid is the voice of reason. But I want to ask you, with the Seattle stuff, where are you at? Let's say Lions get Seattle their first playoff game. Where are you at with your, again, so I go to you with confidence level, but where are you at with the Seattle matchup at Ford Field?
You know what, man? As the voice of reason today, filling in for JB the Great, that Seattle game and that team, it scares me just based off the last 2 times they played them. If we matched up with them, AG just hasn't had an answer. Now, I would like to believe that with their players getting healthy, Houston, CJ, GJ, the offensive line being a little bit more healthy, and them using J-Mo a lot more than they really have in the season, I would like to believe that they have a good chance. Seattle, they haven't looked like the world beaters that they look like against the Lions. And so I think that gives them something to look forward to. But just personally, I don't know, man. The last 2 games against those AG defenses has me a little bit shook if we played them.
100%. And it's not like, again, and for people that, it's a little harder for them to process information like a Brandon Katz. We're not saying that the Lions should be. I have to talk directly to him because the other people I'm not worried about. For Katz, put the camera on me for a second. I just got to have a one-on-one with him because I get it's a little different for him. Katz. The Lions should not be afraid of Seattle, but out of the rest of the teams they'll play, Seattle is the biggest threat. Thank you. All right, sorry. I just had to translate that for Kat.
Well, I should have got it on that side cam.
Yes, because some things, it's a little hard for him sometimes. I just got to break it down specifically for Cats, okay? Thank you for listening, Brandon Katz. All right, let's go to break here. When we come back, we'll go around the NFL. We'll give our pick-ems. And then, of course, we'll get to college football. We'll talk about Michigan in the Big Ten championship game. But first, we got to hear about our friends from Guardian Alarm. That's who I'm afraid of.
Guardian Alarm. I mean, if you're trying to break in Guardian Alarm, you should be deathly afraid of them because they have the best home security, the best defense. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new Down Home Comfort Dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The Down Home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of Down Home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
Come hang with the Woodward Sports Crew all throughout football season on Saturdays and Sundays. Join our college football and Detroit Lions live watch parties.
Inside the 5, caught, end zone, touchdown Detroit Lions!
With money on the line. Featuring different special guests and surprises. Start times will vary depending on the game. Only on our Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Oh yeah, it's me doing a live read, baby. Just in time for football. Glorious Cannabis is dropping a new ice water bubble hash infused pre-roll called Honolulu Blue. It smells so good, it's like a whiff of the first playoff win in 31 years. It's a gassy, aggressive strain named in honor of Detroit football. If you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, you are missing out. So smooth. Find them at Dispo Dispensary for 25% off. Code Woodward at Woodward Glorious at gloriouscanna.com. And hold on, boys. There we go. And you know what? That's why we don't ever do live reads.
You know what? I'd rather just look at you, Lucas. Just put the camera on you, man. You know what? You drive the show. I'm cool with it. Well, this comment, I want to read really quickly. Just a fan. According to Woodward Sports, we were Super Bowl bound. Now Lions can't beat egg. What has changed? I don't know. At least on this show, we've never said Super Bowl. I didn't think this year was the year. I don't know for other shows. I can't speak for other shows. I just know we've never said that. I wouldn't even be willing. Me and Booner got in an argument over an NFC Championship game appearance. I didn't think they could do that. Doesn't mean I hate them. I just don't think this year's the year. And next year we can talk about those things. Doesn't mean they're a bad team. That's just my prediction. I don't think they'll make the NFC Championship game or Super Bowl.
I don't anymore, but I did. To be fair, I did call them inevitable at one point, and I did compare their inevitability to the Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid Chiefs, and the Brady Belichick Patriots. So
you said it without saying it.
But I no longer believe that. With new information, you're allowed to change your opinion, and their inevitability take was indeed bad.
It's all good. Hey, you know what? You admit it, Sam. That's all that matters. Let's go through the NFL schedule really quickly. Some of the games, we'll pick some winners and losers. And Kool-Aid, you feel free to chime in. You can even drop a little track for us,
yes.
some beats in the background here while we go through them, through the slate. It is very simple.
Songs too, by the way.
What'd you say?
You know what? For me, Kool-Aid.
What up, though?
At 9:40, you got to tell the story.
I got you.
Oh, the story?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey, that's per Lucas. Hey, you take away. You do whatever you like. That's a good story, by the way. You guys are going to want to like that. Kool-Aid goes way back with Trey Songz, and I know you guys know who that is. All right, let's start it off. Colts-Titans. Colts favored by 1. Jesus. Who's tuning into that game?
Me. I got Josh Downs.
Oh, yeah.
I need a big game out of Josh Downs this week.
Honestly, this game just... okay, I guess. Give me the Colts. I like Shane Steichen a lot, and I think Gardner Minshew is one of the better backups in the NFL. And I just, again, no JT though. I have him in fantasy. I'm pissed about it. But for whatever reason, the Colts have gotten out of Zach Moss, what the Bills could not get out of him. I don't know why, but I think they'll be all right, and I can see them coming out with a victory here, close.
Shoot, I mean, Zach Moss was like near the top of the NFL in rushing before Jonathan Taylor came back. Yeah, he's a solid, he's definitely somebody who they can plug in, and he could have a very, very good game. But I have the Titans in this one. Here's the thing. I think Will Levis has a good game, and I think Derrick Henry rushes for a lot of yards. And their defense, although it's been shaky at times, I think they have a good game this week. Give me the Titans, but it's not going to be a very fun one to watch.
I got Colts, Titans. What do you think?
It's in Indianapolis, right?
It's in Tennessee.
No, it's in Tennessee. Excuse me.
Yeah, I don't care.
It's in Nashville.
I can't stand the Titans. I don't know what it is about him. I think it's just Ryan Tannehill. But give me the Colts by a field goal. I'll go Colts by 3.
That sounds okay.
All right, we'll go through Chargers, Patriots. Chargers on the road going to Gillette Stadium. To me, this is a Patriots stink, man. And I think Bailey Zappi might be starting.
He is.
Yeah, give me the Chargers. Bailey Zappi, by the way, it's a cool storyline. Last year it was awesome. He beat the Lions, of course. You guys remember that. But I just think this is a game where the Chargers won't turn the ball over 4 times. And Justin Herbert, he'll have a great game on the road, and they'll find a way to win. Even though I hate Brandon Staley, his firing is inevitable, but I think they win this game. I do believe that on the road. They're favored by 5.5.
I hope to God that they win this game.
If they don't, Brandon Staley should not
for some reason,
get on the jet home.
I just have this really bad pit in my stomach that Justin Herbert will throw for like 4 touchdowns. Maybe Austin Eckler will lose a fumble at one point, and Bailey Zappi will have his second legacy game after the one he had against the Lions last year. Chargers 31. Patriots 27. I really think it's going to be closer than people think.
Yeah,
but I'm worried about that.
I'm with you. Like Bill Belichick, like this is all he's got. He's a defensive head coach.
Yeah.
Going up against Justin Herbert, if he gets smoked, man, it's kapoots for him.
And the thing is, even if Justin Herbert throws like 4 TDs, no picks, and the defense blows it for him, you're going to have a lot of people, including Neil Rule and Ryan Ermanni, who are just going to say, "Oh, Justin Herbert's a loser." God, I hate that narrative so much. It makes my blood boil. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He's eons better than Jared Goff. Eons.
I think Justin Herbert at this point would be a better defensive coordinator than Brandon Staley.
That's actually fair.
Like, just you know what, Herbert, you see a lot of football. Just go over there and talk to the defense. Brandon Staley can't do it. And he's a defensive-minded head coach. You're talking about Belichick getting his defense kind of together. Brandon Staley ain't doing that. Like, they played all right last week, but man, for the majority of his tenure, that defense has been in shambles with more talent than other teams.
Shambles.
So I'll go Chargers. Everyone agree and say?
Yeah.
It'll be close,
By
though.
a thread.
Close.
I'll be the guy to say the Patriots. I'll be the guy
you
to
say
say
it. You want to be different. All right.
I could just see it, like, to Flannel's point, but like it could just very easily, like,
all right.
Kendrick Bourne has one of those 3 touchdown games for no reason, or somebody goes off for him. Ramondre Stevenson's been kind of rolling lately. Maybe he keeps that up for him.
All right, we'll move on here. Falcons, Jets, don't care. Game stinks. We're skipping that one. Cardinals, Steelers, another garbage one. No one's watching that. Let's go to Dolphins, Commanders. Dolphins on the road visiting the Commanders, visiting the Commanders. The Dolphins are favored by 9.5. You know what? I think the Commanders cover. I think that line is dictated a lot by what happened last week. The Dallas Cowboys obliterated the Commanders, and I think people at this point are like, they're done. Commanders have played a lot of good teams close, and I think they do it this week against the Dolphins. I think they cover, but give me the Dolphins to win.
Yeah, I definitely think that they cover. That line, it almost seems a little bit fishy. Like
9.5?
9.5 is pretty insane because the Dolphins, just whenever they go on the road, and I get it, this is not a good team. The Commanders are not a good team, but they have some pieces, and they still have those, even though they got rid of Sweat and Young, you still got Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen up the middle. You know what? I'm going to put it on the table. The Commanders win this game, and Tua Tagovailoa throws 2 picks.
I'm mad at you, Flannel. I'm mad.
To Emmanuel Forbes. No, I'm just kidding. He's been playing well. I don't know.
No, has been, though.
Kendall Fuller.
Sam Howell.
All right, go ahead.
Sam Howell. He's going to cook. He's going to cook, but it's going to be a close loss. I think I'm going to go Dolphins by 4.
I like it. Moving on. Broncos, Texans. This is actually not... I know every game that the Broncos play, it's just a slugfest, and it's not entertaining. It just isn't. They make these teams play this type of football, and it's always like a 2017, 23-16, these nasty victories. But I think it'll be a good game. They're on the road. They visit Houston. You got C.J. Stroud. Tank Dell's been banged up. Noah Brown expected to be back, but he's banged up. Houston is favored by a field goal at home. You know what? This is a tough one, boys. I'm biased. I'll admit it. Give me the Broncos. And I think, give me the Broncos. Houston's favored by 3. I think the Broncos win by 3.
Hey,
on the road. Give me him.
If the Broncos win and Russ throws for like 3 tutties, no picks, is he in the MVP conversation then? Or are we all just going to have Russell Wilson derangement syndrome forever?
Who are you taking, Flannel?
I'm taking the Houston Texans.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Because I do think...
And then my MVP candidate overtakes yours.
Hey, I think they're both... I think they both have the potential.
Okay. Now start gassing up CJ.
I am.
Now start gassing up CJ.
I'll be the first
Welcome.
guy to say turn a hater into a fanboy. I can't do anything but respect him. I'll be the first guy to say
Would you say he's got that dog in him?
He's got that dog. He's got that pit bull.
Okay. You said he was a Chihuahua before that.
I did. I did.
Hey, it's okay.
And
you came around.
I said Bryce Young was going to run Rookie of the Year, but
hey, I thought that. I thought that too.
Well, I
was wrong.
I thought Bijan,
I can't say anything more than that.
No, it's his. He locked it up.
No, the funny thing is that coming into the year, who would have thought? And I know this offense had potential that I would be saying this. I don't know if the Broncos can hang with the firepower of the Houston Texans right now. I mean, seriously, you've got C.J. Stroud, you've got Nico Collins, you've got Tank Dell, you got Noah Brown, who's had some good games.
Don't sleep on him now.
Can't sleep on Dalton Schultz either. I mean, this is a good offense. This is a really good offense. And in this Broncos defense, I don't trust them fully to be able to hold this team. So I've certainly got the Houston Texans winning this one.
I will say, though, losing Titus Howard for them is huge.
That's fair.
For the season.
Yeah, that's big.
That's actually fair.
That's big. All right, give me the Broncos by 3. You guys go Houston?
Yep.
All right. Well, let's roll. We'll see. That'll be a good one.
Fucking Broncos.
I'll definitely. I'll see. Well, I'll be calling your ass then. We'll see. I'll FaceTime
Houston
you.
Texans.
No, don't. They're not doing this.
Come on.
You have always been a Tank Dell guy, though.
I have.
I'll give you that. You've always liked Tank Dell.
Hey, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, like dual 1,000-yard seasons. Yeah,
possibility.
There we go.
Dap himself up.
They both had 100+ yesterday.
They did.
Last week.
Tank should have had way more too, man.
Yeah, that 60-yard one that got called back.
That was a dime. That was a dime.
Hey, but it doesn't count though.
All right, now, Panthers Bucks. Who cares? I don't care.
Hey, I think Panthers win that game for real.
Think so? Oh, yeah. I didn't think
Frank Reich. They rally the troops.
The Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield. That's a good point, Flannel. Good on you.
No, I mean I know we can gloss over it, but I think the Panthers win that game for real.
Okay.
Baker doesn't know what's coming.
Okay.
Brian Burns in the backfield at least 3 times.
Does he force a fumble and send Baker out of the game?
Yes. Actually, that could happen.
What the hell are we doing?
It's just the flannel. Hey, it's
What-
a flannel. I just asked Flannel these questions.
What?
He's been on the record to say it before, so.
I have. I've said it too many times. I've said it too many times.
This, by the way, this whole game, the Bucks and Panthers. If you're tuning in, bless you. God bless you. The other thing, I hope it, and this is a great comment. Harry Clevin says 0-0 tie. I think you know what.
Jonathan Mingo legacy game.
Ooh.
Stop.
It's coming.
Frank
He's
Reich-
hearing the noise.
Frank Reich was the problem. They fire him.
Yep.
Bryce Young looks like a offensive rookie of the year candidate.
Bring
Brown.
Bruce Staley home.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. You know what? Bring him home.
Put him somewhere.
Browns Rams. Rams favored by 3.5. Rams have been playing good. And they're in a playoff push right now, and the Browns are kind of in this position where DTR. He's a fine backup quarterback.
Is he?
At times he's a rookie, so there's a learning process. I think he will be. I just think, man, Aaron Donald is going to be some problems there. It's in LA as well, even though SoFi isn't this big time home field. It's a bad place to play. It's SoFi, but still, I'm going to go with the Rams here. Even though I do think this Browns defense will keep them in this game, I just think with the offensive weapons, Kyren Williams, I think the Rams come out on top.
Kyren Williams, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, and Matthew Stafford was slinging it in the last game. He looked kind of like 2021 Matthew Stafford. I think that the Rams win this game by double digits because the Cleveland Browns will score 10 points. Their offense is morbid with DTR. He's one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen. I get it. He's a rookie fifth rounder.
And the thing is, Lucas, it's so bad that if DTR doesn't play, PJ Walker, your guy.
Oh yeah,
PJ Walker at this
Good
point.
luck, man.
Their quarterback play has been all time morbid
I
this
swear,
year.
these PJ Walker fans, I'm talking to you, Lucas. You have this image of your head of that Hail Mary in Carolina, and you stick. I know, God, but you stick by it. That's it. That you're like, man, but that one Hail Mary had to DJ Moore, dude. We're past that.
What's his record with the Browns?
Stop it.
Oh my God.
No.
I'm done. Okay.
Rams win this one. I
Joe
think Aaron
Joe
Donald,
Flacco though is there. Okay.
But Joe
Playoff
Flacco's,
legend.
Yeah, playoff legend Joe Flacco. Talk about.
Nick said it. It's Joe Flacco. Joe's number 2. If Joe Flacco, it might be Flacco time.
If Flacco starts, I think Cleveland will win that game. But
I don't hate that.
But Aaron
don't hate
Donald's
that.
been awfully quiet this year, and it's just because again he's kind of in like a Aiden Hutchinson situation. I think he has a game. I think he makes an imprint. I think Rams win by like 6, 7. I'd give him like 6.
Let's do the biggest game, two big games, but one of them is the biggest by far. 49ers traveling to Philly to take on the Eagles. San Francisco's favored by 3. And this tells me that they see this as, the 49ers, although they have the worst record compared to the 2, they're 8-3 compared to the Eagles 10-1. They're playing better, and they're the better team. And I'm with Lucas on this. At least, when you look at the NFC, the Eagles have the best record, but I think the 49ers have the best team. They're most complete team. And they have Hall of Famers at a lot of levels of just offense and defense. I like the 49ers in this game. I do. And they're favored by 3, and I know people would say, well, there's a home underdog and the best team in the NFC. They want you to take the Eagles. But I think the 49ers win this game. I think it's close, but I think they win by a touchdown.
Yeah, I think the 49ers win this game as well. And not to be long-winded, but I was watching something yesterday, and I'm not going to steal it. It was from one of the best in the business, Colin Cowherd, and I think he made a really good point. This Philadelphia Eagles team, as much as they keep winning, they're not, a lot of one-score games where they've been escaping. Hey, you look at the Buffalo game.
I thought you were going to talk about, not to cut you off, but Brock Purdy wearing his hat backwards.
Oh, no. Oh, God, no. Aldo, I don't love it. But we're not going to go there. The game against the Buffalo Bills, overtime. The game at Kansas City, they could have lost that one. The game versus Dallas, they could have lost that one. They beat the Commanders in overtime once, and then the Commanders again by 7. They beat the Patriots by 5. They beat the Vikings by 6. I'm just saying that they've been playing with fire a lot. They lost to the Jets for their only loss of the year. I'm not saying that this Eagles team is bad, but they're more like, at least by the numbers, I'm not comparing them, they're closer to last year's Vikings than they are to a true dominant team. Although they're better. But I think the 49ers are better right now, and I think they'll win.
Ooh, that Vikings one. I get what you're saying, though. I do. But I think the Eagles are still a really, really good team, and you would agree with that. But just the way they've been winning some of these games, but that's the NFL, though. At the same time, you have to see it. It's an eye test. Like the Vikings were 13-4, but when you watch them, you're like, nah, they ain't 13-4. The Eagles, though, their secondary is not great on paper, at least statistically. But Lucas, I think this is where they're going to drop a game. I mean, it's the NFL. They're not going to go for it 15, 16-1. At least I don't think so. They could. I think the 49ers get this one. This isn't the Eagles team of last year where they could win all these games and we're like, that's a damn good team. They're blowing teams out. It's a lot closer this year. And with the coin flip scenario, I like the 49ers. Although Kyle Shanahan, situationally, it is what it is, but I'd take the 49ers in this game. And I know you like that one.
Yeah, the 49ers, I've been saying it for like the last 2-3 weeks. They're the best team in football right now. And both teams are rolling, but the 49ers have been dominating teams recently. And Philly, they've been kind of not pulling shit out of their ass, but they've just been... It's been just two close games, like gritty performances, and I think at some point that's going to burn out for them, and then they'll have a reset, and then they'll get rolling again. But the 49ers right now, I don't think there's a team in football that will beat them.
Well, and just for the record, I see some people coming at me in the comments about the Eagles. I'm talking about it more in the context of playing the 49ers right now. I'm not saying that the Eagles are going to go into the playoffs and lose in the first round like the Vikings did last year. I'm just saying that for this game in particular, playing the 49ers, I think the 49ers are better right now, and the Eagles, they haven't really been dominant this year. But to their credit, that 6-game stretch we were talking about, they're already 3-0 on it. So that's a testament to them as well.
And it's not just 3-0. They've destroyed the Jags. They've destroyed the Seahawks, both on the road.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't just like, oh, yeah, they're destroying teams. 31-13 to the Seahawks, 34-3 against the Jags. That's
42-10 Cowboys.
And then they have the Cowboys. It's when they're clicking, they're the most terrifying team in the
They went 0-3, and they heard all that noise. And they were down arguably their two best players on their team. Obviously, you can say what you want about Debo, but I think Trent Williams is one of their two best players on their team.
Yeah.
Like, it was mind-boggling that people are just like, yeah, the Niners... They might not be it. They might not be it. And then it's just like, oh, you plug them right back in and they're rolling again. It's like, what do you expect?
Exactly. Final game. Let's just go through it quickly. We'll go to break here. Chiefs, Packers. Yep. It's a wake-up call. Congratulations, Jordan Love. At home, taking on the Chiefs. Yeah. This is gonna be a rough one for this Packers offense, I believe. I just think Mahomes, he's gonna take advantage. They're favored by 6. I think they cover that. I don't think it'll be a complete blowout. But I can see like a 31-17 type of win or 31-14, something like that.
Sure. I think Mahomes has another one of his great games against the secondary. I don't know if it's going to get some of its pieces back, but still they've been depleted. And speaking of people who are going to be in the backfield all game, Mr. Chris Jones, I think he puts Jordan Love on the ground maybe once or twice. Not going to knock him out.
Okay. All right, we're waiting on that.
I can't predict it too much.
All right, Chiefs win. Lucas, you think they cover?
I don't need to spend too much time on it. I hate the Packers.
There you have it. Let's go to break here. When we come back, like I said, we'll get into the Michigan versus Iowa Big Ten championship game. Sam will give his thoughts on it. We'll give our score predictions, of course. And then, hey, as a Buckeye fan, you could just listen and give your take, huh?
Okay.
Isn't that weird? You don't.
No, not in the Ryan Day era, not really.
I'm used to it. Yeah, they're not playing in the playoffs. Last year they snuck in. I don't know, Lucas. We'll see if they can sneak in this year.
They deserve to just not make it in. KJ Jefferson, come home. Come home, KJ Jefferson. Caleb Williams.
Come home, KJ
Jefferson, Caleb Williams.
DJ Ukulele, huh?
I wouldn't mind DJ. Oh, you can throw a better fucking ball than Kyle McCord. That's for damn sure.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, that's fair. But first, we got to hear about our friends from, Swiss Insurance.
Yes. Do you have football on the brain? Of course you do. Fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year has been awesome. Fall's also a perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at swissins.com or call 248-800-4177. Again, that is 248-800-4177, Swiss Insurance.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Come hang with the Woodward Sports Crew all throughout football season on Saturdays and Sundays. To join our college football and Detroit Lions live watch parties.
Inside the 5, caught, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions!
With money on the line, featuring different special guests and surprises. Start times will vary depending on the game. Only on our Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
Let's talk about Outdoor Equipment Company, official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan-grown, family-owned. Bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, and even weed whippers. Liberty trailers, Generac generators, Snow X plows, and salters. Outdoor Equipment Co. has it all. Buy it, rent it, 0% financing, delivery to your doorstep. Just visit their website at OutdoorEquipCo.com.
We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network, previewing the Big Ten Championship game. Michigan taking on Iowa. And by the way, this whole thing with Michigan and what they've been doing this year, they're good.
Yes.
They're damn good. And you look at a couple of the things that immediately stick out to me. They've won a school record, and this is from the AP. I want to credit some of the stuff they put out here because I think it's interesting. They've won a school record 24 consecutive conference games, leads the nation currently in scoring defense.
Ooh. And
they have J.J. McCarthy and Blake Corum, who are not only the Big Ten's quarterback and running back of the year, but two damn good players. Especially JJ with how he played last week. He didn't throw for a ton of yards, but he made some NFL throws. He absolutely did. Currently, Michigan is a 22.5 point favorite. You know what the over-under is?
What is it?
34.5.
Ooh.
You know what they think? Ass whooping. And Iowa ain't going to score a lot. Because, we watched some Cooper DeJean highlights, which he is not going to be playing in this contest. But Cooper DeJean, the man I did not know his greatness, he's too agile. He's too good. He's too fast. He's a playmaker. Cooper DeJean, the white DB from Iowa.
Not just the DB, the corner.
White corner. That's fair.
He's putting on.
Get it right. But he will not be playing.
It's like a unicorn, man.
I mean,
like elite too.
This game is going to be a complete decimation. Like Michigan, you got an offense for Iowa that just can't score. It's that simple. I mean, you look at their games this season. A lot of defensive scores. They're coming off their last 3 wins. And this is funny. They beat Nebraska 13-10. They beat Illinois 15-13. They got a couple 10-7, 12-10 wins. Yeah, we know how this is going to go, Sam Flannel. We do.
Yeah, so
not much to break down here.
No, not a whole lot, but I will try to break down a few things just to kind of further illustrate the points that we have all been making. I mean, the Iowa we talk. What?
I don't know what happened there. My bad, guys.
The Iowa offense is bottom 10 in the entire nation when it comes to scoring. They're actually behind Michigan State, by the way. But still, I had to just get that little dig in there. Iowa's offense is absolutely putrid, and as we already said before, Michigan's defense is number 1 in the entire nation in scoring defense. And Iowa, I know that they have some pieces on defense, and their defense has been solid this year, but they are going to be missing Cooper DeJean. And all the Iowa defense really is and has been during their time of the last few years, they are the 85 Bears of the Big Ten West. Nothing more, nothing less. Because even this year, their only game in which they've played, I would say, a very, very good team was Penn State. And they allowed 31 points and 4 touchdown passes to Drew Aller. And you know what else about the Iowa offense? They are bottom 5 in passing offense, along with being bottom 10 in scoring offense in the entire nation. And Iowa is missing their starting quarterback, former Michigan starter Cade McNamara. He's out for this season. And oh, by the way, Eric All is going to be out too. And if you want a really funny, hilarious stat that all Michigan fans can laugh at, Eric All still leads Iowa in receiving yards despite missing the last 5 games. Iowa's quarterback currently playing right now, Deacon Hill, might be the worst quarterback I've ever seen on a football field. Spencer Petras looks like Aaron freaking Rodgers compared to Deacon Hill. He is an absolute, he's a bum. And I'm not saying that to be mean. He's a bum of a quarterback. He has a 48% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. I see this being a game, I'm going to quote old Coach Yost from Remember the Titans. I don't want them to gain another yard. And by another yard, I mean a single yard. Obviously, they're not going to have negative yards the whole game, but I foresee this being, and I'm not kidding, 35-0 Michigan. Iowa doesn't score a single point. Iowa's offense they are worse than like Nebraska, Michigan State. Like, they are the worst offense in all of the Big Ten, at least. Even some of the worst teams in the Big Ten.
You know what's a crazy comparison to your point, at least offensively? You know how many TDs Iowa has on the year?
Oh, boy.
Rushing and passing?
How many?
They have 20. You know how many Michigan has combined?
I mean, Blake Corum has more than that by himself.
Yeah,
but keep going.
Dude, they got 59
Yeah.
on the season, Michigan. So, I mean, if they could score more than 10 points, Lucas, they got it in the bag.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. Cooper DeJean is going to score 7 for you.
No, and he's out.
Yeah, there's no way, no how.
Your cam went out, Jeff. That's why everything blacked out, so we're getting you fixed up real quick.
It's all good. For all the people chiming in, I want to read some of these comments. Or Sam, you obviously feel free. You can go and read some of the comments because it's me reading them with your face. So, what are the people saying?
No, the funny thing too is I wanted to kind of expound on this a little bit too. Is Cooper DeJean? I'll admit it. If he were on the field for Iowa, I'm a big Cooper DeJean guy. I would be worried about him in particular, and especially even though Michigan has a strong punting game in Tommy Doman, if you kick it to Cooper DeJean, he might take one back as it is, and he's also one of the better corners in all of college football, and just won the Big Ten Defensive Back of the Year. Absolutely.
Look at that cam, boys.
Hey,
look at that one.
A little overhead.
That'll be too shot for a second, Joe.
That's all right. We got the air view, the sky cam here. I like this.
And of course, Detroit Supremacy is picking Iowa. I know you're trolling, bro, but you say some really out of pocket things and they're unchecked.
Hey, well,
they're unchecked.
Iowa's got some dogs.
I mean, maybe on defense, but their lead dog, honestly, if you want to talk about their two best players, maybe their two better NFL prospects, you probably think of Cooper DeJean and Eric All, both out.
Yeah, that's a big deal. I mean, you talk about their ability to get to the quarterback. Joe Evans, who's been in college for like 8 years. But for those who don't know, he's been at Iowa for 5 years, or maybe it could be even 6. Honestly, I'd have to fact check that. He has 24 sacks in his career. Cool. I mean, hey, this defense, they got some players, Sam. No Cooper DeJean, but no, this Michigan's going to decimate them. They really will. Let's go through some other games quickly. We'll pick some winners, shall we? We'll just pick winners and losers for other championship games. We've kind of been previewing it all week, at least for winners and losers, how the college football playoff will shape up, but we'll go through it. Oregon, Washington. Oregon favored by 10. They're in Vegas. Talk to me, Sam. Who comes out with a victory? It's 5. Oregon taking on 3. Washington. Washington undefeated. Could lose this week.
I got Oregon in this one. Okay. I just think they're the hotter team. They're the more physical team. And Bo Nix right now is playing quarterback at a higher level than Michael Penix. And Michael Penix, I don't trust the Washington defense. So give me Oregon. I would say pretty decisively by about 14. I mean, you see the spread.
Yeah.
I think they cover.
They're favored by 10 in Las Vegas. I'm going to go with Oregon, too. I don't think Washington beats them twice. So I'll leave it at that. Bo Nix this is another Heisman case right here. So give me Oregon to take down Washington. What about you, Lucas?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Oregon, too. I think they're the more physical team, and I think just as time goes on, I think it'll wear down on Washington, who's kind of been inconsistent as of lately, so I think they'll definitely and they lost early on in the season. Yeah, I think Oregon just the better team, and they're just going to offensively, I don't think Washington will be able to keep up.
I'm with you. Oklahoma State versus Texas. Ollie Gordon.
I like him. Shout out Sam Flannel.
Yep.
He's a dog.
He's a dog.
God.
But Texas is favored by 15.5.
Hey, Michigan fans, remember Alan Bowman. He is now the starting quarterback for Oklahoma State. Shout out Alan Bowman. He was like a 4th-string quarterback on Michigan for the last couple of years, former Texas Tech quarterback. But I digress. Give me Texas in this one, but Oklahoma State is going to put the fear of God in them at some point because Ollie Gordon, he rushes for at least $150. He's the best back in the country.
Yeah, I'll take Texas in this game, but Ollie Gordon he's an animal. Yeah. He really is. But I think Texas wins this one. Oklahoma State potentially covers, but give me Texas to come out with a win here.
Yeah, Texas wins.
Would you agree with that, Lucas?
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to Georgia, Alabama. I could see a scenario in which Alabama beats them, and I think I'm going to go with Alabama here. Georgia's favored by 5. They're playing in Atlanta. You got Jalen Milroe playing pretty well, especially what he's been doing with his legs. He's having a great year in totality. I think Georgia has been kind of sleepwalking through a lot of these games, and I think they're going to get smacked in the mouth by Alabama. I think Alabama beats them, and there's a potential for 2 SEC teams to maybe squeeze into the playoff. So give me Alabama. I think they win outright.
I've got Alabama in this one, but it's kind of a little bit of a heart over head pick because I want to avoid Ohio State backdooring into the playoffs as much as possible. And I think if Alabama wins, you got Alabama and Georgia. But you can certainly make a case. I mean, could I see Dallas Turner getting to Carson Beck a couple of times, maybe forcing an errant throw that Kool-Aid McKinstry picks off, maybe sacking Carson Beck a couple of times? Absolutely. And when you think of this Alabama offense, you'd think it's not the Alabama offense of yesteryear because they don't have the backs like the Derrick Henrys and the Najee Harrises. They don't have the wide receivers like the Calvin Ridleys and the Amari Coopers and the Julio Jones. But Jalen Milroe is certainly playing well, and he is a big-time threat on the ground.
He is.
And man, he kind of is built a little bit like Jalen Hurts, just a Mack truck out there. And quiet as kept, this could be a little bit of a revenge game for Jermaine Burton, who is actually emerging as a pretty big deep threat for the Alabama Crimson Tide. So give me Alabama. Very, very close, but it's more of a heart over head pick, but you can certainly make the case.
Jonesy said Alabama over the team that beat them, Texas. I think if Texas loses, then yes. But even then, you're right, Jonesy, because Texas has that win.
But Alabama would have a win over Georgia.
So that's
that's tough, right?
Get in.
I hate it. But what do you think, Lucas? Alabama or Georgia?
I'm exactly where Flannel's saying too. I think Alabama. It's not the smart pick on paper and just how the two teams have looked over the course of the season as a complete whole, but something about it, man. Saban in those SEC championship games where he needs to win it and he's counted out. I think a lot of times he shows up in those. So. Give me the Tide. Roll Tide.
There you have it. I mean, there's other games. We don't really need to preview them. SMU, Tulane. Wow. That'll be a good one. Real college football lovers will be tuning into that one. Louisville and Florida State. Florida State's favored by 1.5, but I think Louisville beats them. And I think this is the end of the Florida State playoff hopes. I do. So give me Louisville. Very simple.
I think Florida State still wins this game.
So do I.
Hey, because I mean they've got a good running game. I mean, is Keon Coleman still on the field and is Jared Verse still on the field? That Louisville does not have the high-end talent that Florida State has. Florida State wins and they get into the college football playoffs. Damn what Neil Rule has to say. If it is a undefeated Power 5 team, they are in. You can't leave them out.
Yeah, you have
Give me Florida State and get Ohio State out. No backing in.
Well, Flannel, who's
passion?
Yeah. Okay, so let's just contradict what you just said. So if Alabama wins, they're the SEC champion.
Yes.
I think Florida State's going to win, but I still think you have to put Georgia and Bama in.
Yes.
Michigan, obviously. And then the winner of Oregon-Washington, I think it's going to be Oregon. So Florida State's going to be out.
I think if Washington wins, that they have to be in. But if Oregon wins, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Dude, you got Bo Nix, or what's Florida State's quarterback?
Tate Rodemaker.
Yeah. Which one? Because I know that's what should happen, but by definition, they're putting the best 4 teams in college football in the playoffs.
Or it could be who's the most deserving, which I hate.
Yeah, I hate that
like
too.
Florida State
the TV
deserves
ratings
it.
will show like the difference
Right.
and obviously that's more money and revenue. I hate to take the Neil Rule approach on that, but I agree with it.
Yep.
You don't put Florida State in, man. If they had Jordan Travis, obviously you put him in. But they don't.
Yeah. Even Keon Cole. I mean, we'll see how much of a threat those guys are without Jordan Travis.
That'd be like watching the Bengals in a playoff game without Joe Burrow. You don't want to watch that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know, but
Hate it. Can't wait till next year.
People seem to conveniently leave out that it wasn't all because of the TV ratings that Ohio State backed in last year. It's because USC choked.
Ohio State's not backing in.
Okay.
And this year, there's more competition
but
this year.
But it's not all about the TV ratings. I know it plays a part in it, but like last year, USC choked. It wasn't because like that played a part in it. Teams have to lose as well. So I don't know. It's one of the most jumbled messes. And imagine there are certain scenarios that could play out that could just mean like the Zach Galifianakis meme with like the math over his head type of chaos.
Let's go to break here. When we come back, we'll get to what's trending with Lucas and of course mailbag for Lucas.
Oh, shit.
And then we'll we'll get our final score predictions up because we do have those as well for the Lions game. But first, I got to tell you about our friends over at Big Boy. Wintertime's here.
There's not going to be graphic for it, but definitely just keep doing the read because all the cams are out besides that one.
All right, I'll talk to you. Let me talk to you about Big Boy for a second, guys. Wintertime in Detroit's always better when you go to Big Boy. They got comfort foods. Top it all off with their gingerbread shake for dessert. Stop by our local Big Boy today. We'll be right back after the break.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests, for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Experience Dispo Romeo, a team that curates an exclusive atmosphere mixed with fresh inventory from Michigan's largest variety of products. The first ever cannabis mall of its kind is conveniently located off of Van Dyke and 32 Mile Road in Romeo. Dispo Romeo is now open late night until midnight every day except Sunday. Can it get any better than that? Dispo Dispensary, disposhops.com, your local cannabis plug.
We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. It is time. Check the clock. Check your watches. Lucas, what do you got for us today?
Alrighty, fellas. Breaking it down. Emotional one for me because it'll be my last one. But something that I think somebody had way more emotions about was Von Miller. There was a breaking news that he had a warrant out for his arrest out of Dallas, that he hit his pregnant girlfriend at the time, and then he turned himself in. And now they're saying that the victim is denying that Von even assaulted her. Said no one assaulted anyone. This is insane and sad. So when you think about it, a warrant was issued for it. So how does it, like, you would think that she'd be the one that say it, no? Like, what is your whole reaction to this Von Miller thing?
I think it's a dangerous world we live in, to be honest with you, with certain things like that. You know, when women or men, whatever it is, when you come out and accuse somebody of something like that, especially someone like Von Miller, and it turns out that it's not true, or it kind of is true, or it's not true, man, you're messing with the dude's career. Like, that's what I hate, and it stinks. I don't know the truth of it. I don't know him personally. I don't know the situation, so I don't really want to comment on, like, if it happened or it didn't. But the fact that somebody has the power to, you know, anybody can come out and say this person did something, and it could potentially be career-ending. Like, that's the world we live in 2023.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's true or not. And if it is, it's a shame. But if it isn't, damn. That man just got a lot of bad publicity for no reason.
Well, it all just depends on how it ultimately ends up being true. I mean, it's kind of shocking to hear the accused, like the woman who is accused of being assaulted, just say no assault happened whatsoever. I don't even know anymore. Like, I've learned to become, and I'm not saying that they're all this way, but skeptical of the first thing I hear about things almost all the time. Just initially. Is that fair?
That's very fair.
It's just very wishy-washy. Like, I didn't know how to approach the situation either. That's why I was like genuinely asking when I saw it. I was like, what the fuck? Because I feel like she'd be the one to have to report it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
maybe a family
who
member
reported
or something.
It? Like, who said it?
Yeah. That's what's so fishy about
it.
A
neighbor, maybe? I don't know.
Peeping.
I don't know.
Either way.
Yeah, again, I don't know the situation. Something could be going on. I don't know.
Either way, move on to more positive news. Jeff, we didn't do the score prediction or the score graphic with.
You want to throw it up?
Yeah. So here's what we thought for the Lions and Saints game. Honoring JB. He's not here today, setting up at Dispo, but these are the score predictions. Iafrate, if you want to speak on it for yourself.
Yeah, so I got 24-19. We all have close games. We all have one-score games. So it tells you what we think and kind of the respect we have for the Saints here. I think it'll be this type of game, and you guys kind of agree with me. Lucas has the highest scoring game, but it's only by 3. So 27-20, 24-19. I do think it's close. I think there'll be some, maybe, hopefully not, but I can see a scenario where there is maybe some turnovers. Hopefully I'm more so on the Saints side of things, the defense for the Lions getting some turnovers. But yeah, I got the Lions squeaking out of here with a win. Again, it's a road game. It's a tough place to play. We'll see. But Dennis Allen's had question marks about his head coaching abilities, so I still believe in the Lions getting the job done. I do.
24-19, that's interesting. We got almost an identical score. Just add a safety, you get 24-19. Oh, obviously, no, that's not what we were thinking. But I see the offense it being kind of more of a methodical game, some short passes, some runs. I think the Lions will be able to exploit the Saints' poor rushing defense to some extent. I do think they turn the ball over once. Maybe Goff throws one pick, but I think that... You know who I also think turns the football over? I predict, this is my kind of bold prediction. I don't know if it's even that bold. The Saints have a turnover in the red zone. An Aiden Hutchinson sack fumble in the red zone. Yeah. That's my prediction.
Does it send Derek Carr out of the game?
No. I can't just keep throwing those out willy-nilly. That's like reckless at that point. So, yeah.
No, and JB's not here, but I guarantee me and him both have the same philosophy for this game. Sam Laporta, big game.
Mm-hmm. John Macaroon spoke on it too.
Yeah, I think John's the one I think that truly put me onto that one. I was like thinking about it. I was like, yeah, I think Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, and David Montgomery, all of them, or I should say all 3 of them, big games.
There you go. And you have JB's photo in that thing that is just, jeez.
It's an all-timer.
A-Diz says 1 touchdown and 4 field goals, Jeff. Yeah, it's that type of game. Nasty.
I could see it.
I could seriously see it.
Yeah, the Saints, that's how I think it'll go. We'll see. We'll see who's the closest. I'll probably track those. We can revisit those. Hey, even though Lucas won't be here, we'll see. Maybe you call it. What a way to go out. On Monday, you get the correct score.
There we go.
Disappear like an angel.
I'll call in. I'll call in sometime next week too. We got to figure out. We can do like a little weekly call in. We'll set something
Check
up.
Check in with Klotz.
Indeed. But something that I also saw, and it was kind of, this is fucked up in my opinion. I'll have my early take on this because this kid was grinding. He's like my age, but he was a photographer for the Miami Dolphins, and he got plugged in by being friends with Tyreek Hill. And the NFL is about to take away his credentials for a touchdown celebration that Tyreek Hill did with his phone. But here's the story about it. I just think it's fucked up.
This is how I got my credentials suspended for the rest of the NFL season at 20 years old. As a junior in high school, I started filming videos for our school's basketball team. At just 17 years old, I learned the skill of social media networking and was able to create opportunities to work with star players like Tyreek Hill, Saquon Barkley, Antonio Brown, and many others. I'm a student at the University of Miami, and when Tyreek got traded to the Dolphins, we instantly reunited and began working together. In 2022, I applied for a job with the NFL, and they hired me to work at all Miami Dolphins home games. I had one of the greatest years of my life, working side by side with one of my best friends, watching him take over the league on his new team. In week 6 of this season, Tyreek scored a touchdown in the exact same corner of the end zone that I was filming in. He noticed me and surprised me by grabbing my phone and doing a backflip. It was the coolest moment ever, and I ran into the tunnel to send the clip to the NFL. Tyreek got a penalty for the celebration and was immediately asked about it after the game.
I seen the camera and I just took it from him. And he didn't want me to take it from him, so that's my boy K Fitz, man.
The NFL then let me know that I would be suspended for the remainder of the season and possibly for good. They said regardless if I knew the celebration was coming or not, I still had to be disciplined and that I shouldn't have jumped on the sidelines after the play. One of the best moments of my life turned upside down in a matter of seconds. I get why the NFL had to make this decision and wish I could have done something to prevent it, but I'm thankful for the memory that Tyreek gave me. This was the greatest job in the world, and I never took a day for granted. I can't thank the NFL.
Another 10 seconds there, but that honestly aggravated me too, because it's like, what? There's nothing you can do. But when you guys hear that, the no fun league, the NFL.
I was just gonna say that. NFL no fun league.
No fun league.
And this is what the NFL's had a problem with over the last decade or so. Understanding that this is an entertainment business. Guys, we all saw that Tyreek Hill backflip on all our social media. That thing exploded. And guess who that helps? The NFL.
Yeah.
And guess what Tyreek said in the presser? He didn't want me to take his phone. I took it anyway. But we're going to suspend the dude? Like, come on. It's actually it's one of the dumbest things ever. It's so dumb. I hate it. I wish celebrations, even like the St. Brown's or Jamal Williams when he was here, when he did the three thrusts, 4 thrusts, whatever, and he got fined. It's like, dude, what are we doing? Like, you have to understand the product you're getting out on TV and what people love, and I love, at least, and I'll only speak for myself, and I think other fans would agree. You love entertainment. I love when they celebrate. I used to love Chad Johnson, Ocho, when he used to go out there and have different celebrations for every time he'd score. That stuff I live for. I love that stuff. I love celebrations. The NFL has tried to crack down on it. Now you're punishing a dude for what? Getting hype because Tyreek Hill did a backflip and grabbed his camera? Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah, I mean,
it's ridiculous.
I feel sick for that kid at this point because I don't know. Hopefully he can get back into the league and be filming next year. But if Tyreek Hill, I mean, I know they're friends, which furthers my point. If Tyreek Hill wants to celebrate with your phone, you let Tyreek Hill celebrate with your phone, right? I mean, who's going to be like, no, Tyreek, go away? It created probably one of the most memorable moments of this guy's life, and now it could be the thing that represents his downfall. It's just, it's sad. I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, like Joe Westfall. You're going to tell Tyreek Hill, don't take my phone?
Right.
No, I'm giving him the phone. I mean, yeah, look what happened from it. It was great exposure.
I would have done it.
Booner says Tyreek Hill is paying his salary now, I think. Good friend. Yeah, I mean, no, I love Tyreek, but like, yeah. Like, he didn't want you to take his phone. He took it. He got suspended. I mean, good. It was a good move there by Tyreek.
That's great, but does it really make up for it, though?
No.
Because, like, this guy's, I mean, we all do this because we love what we do. And I'm not saying that, like, it's the same scale as this guy. It's a different situation, different field. But still, I think has a lot to do with it, for the love of the game, for getting to be on NFL fields filming. You can't put a price tag on that.
No. Like when players use props, and it's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Like Eric Allen saying Joe Horn pulling the cell phone out from the pad on the field goal post. Like, come on, dude. Like, some of the stuff is like even Shannon calling the National Guard. Come on.
Call Donald Trump.
Call the president. They need help. Those Patriots need help. And, like, that stuff I will always remember. So it's the dumbest thing ever. It's dumb.
But that'll be it, boys. Appreciate it. One last what's trending, but then we'll get into the mailbag, right?
It'll be mailbag for Lucas.
The Lucas mailbag.
Ask Lucas Klotz. Get your questions ready. Ask Lucas Klotz. Anything you want to ask the man, he'll answer it. That's how we'll send him off here. Get the People's Q&A, and of course, all that and more. But first, we got to hear about our friends from Dispo, I believe.
Mark White.
I
did Dispo lesson. No, that's fair. Winter is here, and if you're dreaming of a new home but feeling the pinch, we've got some fantastic news for you. Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Here's the deal. When you work with a Mark White and Associates realtor, they'll pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right. Buying a home just got a whole lot easier. Imagine having an extra $5,000 in your pocket this winter. With years of experience and a commitment to making your dreams a reality, Mark White and Associates are your go-to team for all things real estate. This incredible opportunity won't last forever. Call Mark White and Associates today at 248-290-8242 and let them make your winter home buying dreams come true. Visit their website, markwhitesells.com, or call them again at 248-290-8242 to hear the full terms of this offer and begin your home search today.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests, for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Dick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
All right. Come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience. That's where I get my A-plus haircuts from the A-plus stylist. Register to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That's right. No expense spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
We're back. We'll try to get through. I know we have 7 minutes here, but we'll go a little over for Lucas Klotz, dude, because we have to. My man. All right, let's go. Mailbag. Start us off. Harry says, Lucas, you have full control of the Pistons. What moves do you make, and what is your starting lineup?
First thing I'm doing,
I'm intrigued.
I'm sending Killian and whatever pick they want that's not a first round to Chicago for Alex Caruso. First thing I'm doing. Bring Caruso home. Bring Caruso home. After that, who needs to go? I'm trying to think of strategic. You're getting Bogey. Next, we're sending Bogey.
Yep. Get some
return, Kool-Aid, hit me with some names.
For Bogey, I'm hoping that the guy he replaced is the guy that they wind up trading him for at least by the offseason, and that's Mr. Jeremy Grant.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll ship Bogey back for Jeremy because he has some interest in coming back to Detroit. No.
Hey, he never wanted to leave.
So there you go.
He was glad to be here.
That's a Lucas Klotz. That's 2 moves right there.
We'll start there.
Look at that.
And then as the season goes on, that's immediately. As the season goes on, hopefully they're on the same trajectory. We're going to trade that first round pick.
All right.
I don't care. Bring me a guy now. Bring me a guy now.
Okay. Tony D says, mail sack. Lucas, do the Lions step up on both sides of the ball after the loss last Thursday?
I think so. Yep. I think Dan Campbell, he's familiar with that environment in New Orleans, so he's going to have the team ready for it. New Orleans is a physical team, and they know that. And I think, they step up on both sides.
This comment here, Mike G. Mike G. Ask Lucas, if you did a one-on-one versus Juicy covering him and Flannel at QB, how many reps do you win over Jeff out of 10?
I would say I'm a quarterback-proof type of guy, and it may not seem like it, but Flannel's got a cannon.
So you're guarding me, and Flannel's my quarterback. Is that what? I think that's that question.
Ooh.
Oh, then phone booth for Jeff. I'm afraid
I might miss some throws too.
Phone booth.
Shot says mailbag. How does it feel evolving from an Ohio man Sid to a certified ball knower?
It's just one of those things that's always been inside me, but I think now it's been developed. Well, you are not the one to go.
I didn't know you had balls.
We can get Kool-Aid on soundboard right now. It's just something that's always been pounding.
Hey,
inside
if you want to say you've always had balls inside you, I'm not going to question it.
It's not that.
It's your last day. It's your last day. I'm not going to do nothing. God.
And then Flannel's PFF takes really just allowed me to kind of just kick down the doors and evolve as a ball knower.
Let's see here.
Montgomery not being an upgrade over Jamal Williams.
That wasn't a great take. I said
Khalil Herbert being a better running back than David Montgomery.
That was bad. I'm sorry, but I never said David Montgomery wasn't up. You know what? This isn't the time or place.
Mike G says, "Ask Lucas, could you cover Braylon Edwards?"
Yeah, no.
You have to think. The fact that you had to think about it.
Don't you
Don Beats, mailbag. I don't know if y'all did this already, but what are your game predictions for the Lions' last 6 games? Lucas, give me a record last 6 games.
I think they go 4-2. I think
Don Beats agrees.
They'll drop a single division game, and then I think they'll drop in Dallas, which I honestly prefer, because then if you meet them in the playoffs, I think Dallas would be a team for the Lions that would be difficult for them to beat them twice.
Let's see. Honolulu Blue BS, Lucas Bag. Who knows the most ball at WSN when you're gone, and where are you going?
Going to Tampa. My buddy has a job down there they got for me. I'll be able to make money. I got to take care of stuff behind the scenes. But if I had to give the second man up, Raxer's up there for sure. I got to go with Spenmo. I'm going to Spenmo, in my opinion. All around. Yeah,
sure.
Jeff, how's it feel? How's it feel, Jeff?
No, you can give it to you can give it to Spenmo. That's fair. He knows ball.
I feel like me and Spenny, for the most part, are usually stride for stride and things. Like, the only thing that he's got me on is CJ Stroud. But he also said the Texans go worst to first, and I was like, no, it's the Jags.
Hey.
Which is true.
It's all right. I don't hate that. Let's see this question. Dr. Dirty D asked Lucas, is this a work, family, or for love move?
I would say for family, for sure.
Honolulu Blue BS, Lucas Bag. No, I already answered that question. It hips. Mailbag. If you want to go to a great gentleman's club in Miami, then go to Tootsie's. Tootsie's. That's where all the top athletes go. Well, noted. That's where Lucas Potts will be.
Will do.
Let's see. Freddie Felt asked Lucas, not a question, just wanted to let Lucas know that I've appreciated listening to the Ball Nowhere every morning and having me start my day the right way. Best of luck, my dude. Freddie Felt.
Appreciate all you guys. I know I tried to get a bunch of you guys in the chat earlier, but all you guys in the chat, thank you for everything. You guys made this even more fun than it could be, especially even the Cats, the Detroit Supremacies of the world, where we never seem to go eye to eye. It's fun getting the debates, obviously. You guys make it more entertaining, and you make the job what it is. So to all you guys, please keep supporting this show. These guys bust their ass. They grind behind the scenes like you would not believe, and they're all just genuine, good-ass people that have taken care of me and allowed me and supported me in a lot of ways, that not just on the show and at work, but in a lot of ways. So these are great people that deserve support, so please just keep taking care of them for me.
Hey, love you, bro.
Yeah, we love you, Lucas. David Witt says, Mailbag Ball Nowhere, what made you want to work at WSN, and what can you say about your growth since joining WSN?
Well, ironically, Mr. Adam Baydoun did. I loved watching him in the morning, but then as you I don't know, just I was always a big Lions fan, and this was a place where I could come and just lock in and just listen to the things that I wanted to hear. The morning show, Adam and Jeff. Yeah, you guys are definitely what made me want to start working here. Now that I'm part of it, it's a great experience. Yeah, I try not to get emotional, but yeah, I just love you guys.
No, we love you, bro. We love you. We'll always love you. By the way, you'll always have a spot. Whether personally, I'll always have your back. You know that. You're my bro. And then off of that, just anything. I mean, you always have a spot here, dude. You come into town, you coming on the morning Woodward show. All right? You come on, you chop it up. You're always welcome.
Appreciate it.
No, and he also, if I can real quick, man.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand. I've been on socials for my entire time at Woodward. That's why they brought me in initially, obviously involved in the Pistons. But Lucas, he came to this company at a time where we were trying to take the next step with our social media in general. And he really brought a lot to the table, and he brought some initiative. He took this thing and supercharged it to the levels that I don't know if we could have gotten to without him. I mean, that's across all of the platforms, from TikTok to Instagram to Woodward Sports. He was the lead in this thing and took it from about where we got to 30,000. We started to plateau, and Boss Man was like, what are we doing? We got to find some way to get these numbers up. And Lucas, man, from day one, he just hit the ground running. He put in hard work. I'm talking like 24/7 work. Socials never rested, man. And I don't think people understand that. And we've all been able to benefit because of what he's done. Lucas is he's a guy that goes beyond his work, and a person who allowed who he is and his relationships to really drive how much he was going to do. Lucas, I'm grateful for our connection, bro. We're going to be connected for life. And I'm glad for everything you've done, and I wish you nothing but success in the road ahead, man.
Appreciate you, Kool-Aid.
Yeah, well said. Like for those who maybe aren't familiar with what goes on behind the scenes, like Lucas is one of the most integral parts of this entire operation. He really is one of the more important people. Probably you can argue the most important person at this network for what he does for us, what he does for this show, for me, for Sam. Like he's dude, he holds it down, and he's somebody that I can always rely on for anything. And especially after Adam left, Sam and Lucas, those two, man. Like you guys, it's hard for me, like me and Adam, we still have a great kid. I love Adam. He's my brother. He calls me all the time. We talk all the time. But when you guys came in, it kept the show going. It made it exciting for me. It gave me something to look forward to. And I know our friendship doesn't stop here. I'm going to be calling your ass all the time, just how it's going to be. But man, like I want you to understand how much you are appreciated. You know what I mean? Like that has never been understated.
No,
your hard work.
And I felt that back because like you guys have been a family for me for real. Especially moving away from my pops in Toledo was difficult. So you guys took me in and really just nurtured me and took care of me and supported me. So it's both ways. But yeah, I'll definitely be back up here to visit. I'll be in the chats. I'll be calling in. I'll definitely make sure that I'll be stopping in as well.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that. Lucas, I guess I'll go last. You're certainly a special human, man. I mean, when you came in, you just were instantly almost like you were a plug and play, one of the most integral parts of this network from day one. Everybody who's here thinks that you have been here for many, many years, but you actually came in after me and Jeff. And it just seems like you've been here forever, man. And you're the battery. You provide me energy when I come in. You kind of are one of those people. I know it doesn't seem like it, but I'm a little older than Jeff and Lucas. You keep me young, you keep me on my toes, and that is very, very valuable to someone. I'm sure Kool-Aid feels the same way. We've got a lot of adult responsibilities and stuff, but sometimes it just feels good to come in here and be a part of a great brotherhood. And Lucas, you are one of my best friends for life, man, for real. Absolutely.
We'll always have that brotherhood plan.
Yeah.
Thank you for advocating for me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be on this level without, honestly, a lot of people on this show. And, man, bro, Lucas helped me be seen by a lot of people here. Like, he's a good guy. Sheesh, man. Get the camera off.
Boy.
Yeah, dude, I can't break today.
No.
All right, no crying for Jeff. I can't do it. And I'm emotional. It's sad, man. Like, one of the things about this business, and I love doing it, it's a passion of mine. I love it. There's nothing I love. There's not too many things I love more than this. But the hardest thing is saying goodbye. Like that's the hardest thing about this business. I mean, Adam, different people that I've got a chance to connect with and meet, the great people here at Woodward. I mean, we have a strong connection, and people don't see it behind the scenes, but man, we're brothers, all of us. Like it's actually brotherhood. Me and Lucas will argue and then we make up and we're good. Like it's an actual brotherhood, man. It really is. And I love you, man. He's saying they want us to hug it out. Is that?
Bring it in for a group hug on the one
all
time.
Right, come on, bring it in. Let's get out of here. Come on, bud. Let's go, Klotzy. Klotzy. Oh, my God. Love you, bro.
Go hugging.
Love you, bro. Oh, my dog, Klotz.
Sir. Love you, baby.
Oh. Everybody.
Love you, bro.
Virtual hug for Lucas Klotz, the man, the myth, the legend, the ball knower.
Love y'all.
The legend here at Woodward Sports. His legacy will live on. He'll be back. We ain't letting him go too far. We'll be doing the Klotz check-ins. But until then, Lucas, send us off. Tell the people what you want to say. Close the show. It's all you.
That'll be the last show for me. And I will note that Sam Howell, he did end up leading the NFC East in passing yards, so that was my bold prediction. Sam Laporta will be a Hall of Famer. We'll see you later.